Okay, this is happening. I forgot to change the tab. But yeah, in case you didn't hear, yeah, there you go. There you go. I was getting ready for bed. I brushed my teeth. The lights were off. I was about to journal and call it a night. And then none other than Mahi in the Discord came out with the alert, and now every single person on my phone is texting me that John Harbaugh is in fact a New York Giant. Say it ain't so. I was not planning to stream on a Wednesday. What the hell? But here we are. I didn't think this deal was going to actually happen. We got Gail here. What's up? I'm just going to text the Discord. Which one should I do? All right. Live now. Let's talk John. Simple. All right. And rip the Giants' entire future. Listen, there's going to be a few reactions to this. I'm going to go with happy. I'm going to go with optimistic on this one. There's a very cynical way to look at it. John Harbaugh hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2013. A lot of things have happened since 2013. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but that was 13 years ago now. God. But yeah, John Harbaugh's the New York Giants head coach. I'm happy about it. All this to end up 9-8. A 9-8 would be a dub. You guys act like the Giants are a franchise that's going for the Super Bowl. Need I remind you, we have probably the most losses in the last 10 seasons, if not second or third. Go Jets. But yeah, to the cynics, like Sniper Way, John a little bit, yeah, listen, this might not work. Let me move the chat around again. I just kind of threw this together. It's not my most organized stream. Lucky number 13. Yeah, we got Muhammad here. John, Bounty, whatever. Sniper Way and John and anyone else who pops on by. Let's discuss John Harbaugh, the next Giants head coach. Listen, anytime you hire a head coach, there will be caveats. And takes me back to the example we talk about all the time, the Family Guy boat example, because this is very important to remember when discussing new head coaches. John Harbaugh, in this context, is a boat. You win a boat, okay? And you can either keep the boat or you can decide on getting a mystery box that could have anything. It could even have a boat. And that's what it's like hiring first-time head coaches. How would I know that? Because the Giants, since Tom Coughlin, have only hired first-time head coaches. Ben McAdoo sucked. Pat Shurmur, awful. Joe Judge can miss me with his weak shit. I just slammed my chair down. My neighbors are gonna be pissed. That was unnecessary. That was harsh. I'm fired up. I'm fired the hell up. How could I not be? The New York Giants have a head coach. Welcome to the Hunnaball stream. Mahi's here. Thank you. Thank you for alerting the news. You beat everybody I know, Mahi. I don't have Twitter downloaded, so I gotta, keep up with it in different ways. And I was scrolling Twitter on Safari to confirm, and there it is. There it is. The proof is in the pudding. John Harbaugh is the future Giants head coach. Does that mean he's gonna win a Super Bowl year one? Maybe not. Probably not. Most likely not. But is it a good sign for the culture? Is it a good sign for the future of this team? Of course it is. What was the alternative? Yeah, Clint Kubiak sounds great in theory, but 9 out of 10 Clint Kubiaks don't work. Brian Dable didn't even list him in the former head coaches. Shane might be cutting out too, if we're lucky. Let's not get too excited. All right, speaking of the Jets, we'll also talk about Dante Moore. That's right. Dante Moore would rather take $3 million than play for the New York Jets. A lot of football stuff to talk about. Mike Tomlin left. We haven't streamed since then. Last time we streamed was on Monday, and I went on a pretty spirited rant about the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers, or I should say lack thereof, future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what is up, guys? An impromptu night Wednesday stream on January 14th, 2026. Damn, dude. Fuck your neighbors. No way I learned this through you. Yeah, exactly. Amen to that, Chris. Let's see. It'll be good to see the Giants on top of the East again. Again, let's not count our eggs before they hatch, if you will. Count our chicks before they hatch. I guess you can count eggs. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, look, vibes in Philly are at an all-time low. We know that for sure. Kevin Patullo is fired. People are discussing whether or not Nick Sirianni, the defending Super Bowl champion head coach, should keep his job. And Dallas, come on. Like, are we serious? When was the last time the Giants won the division? Oh boy, I want to say 2008, I think, maybe '07. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Let me look that up to confirm. It's been a while. I don't think I've ever seen the Giants win the division. Genuinely. Like you guys know, I started watching football 2012. New York Giants last division dub. Let's see if that last division title, that'll go. That was 2011. Cool. Yeah, 2011. We were 9-7. Good season. So, all things considered, look, there's gonna be a possibility that this doesn't work out. Right? John Harbaugh has been known to be a playoff choker. I hopped on here complaining, screaming, old fat music. Thank you. Thank you. Look, we're going positivity tonight. John Harbaugh has not won a Super Bowl since 2013, but the Giants have not won the division since before that. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Birds took a smoke, y'all. Listen, I feel like the vibes right now in Philly are through the ground. Everybody hates Nick Sirianni. Like I said, Dallas can suck it. And the Commanders, are they good? Are they terrible? Time will tell. Time will tell. Here's what I know. The Giants have a quarterback and a Super Bowl winning head coach. If you would have gone back a year ago and told me that, I wouldn't have given a damn about everything in the middle. Now, I say that while also remembering that this was one of the most brutal seasons I've ever seen a sports team have in my life. Certainly a sports team I've ever rooted for. If you put it all together, there was enough stress and agony over the past 3 months that I'm surprised I'm still here, to be honest with you. We were all here for the Broncos game. We all saw the Dallas game and all the blown leads and the fired head coach in the middle of the season. We were so bad that we fired our head coach in the middle of the season and turned around and fired our defensive coordinator 2 weeks later. This is not a team that wins a lot of games. So to anybody that thinks John Harbaugh is a playoff choker, can't win the big one, you could be right. You could be right. But as it stands right now, he was the best coaching candidate within this cycle. I would have rather had John Harbaugh than Kevin Stefanski, and I certainly did not want a new first-time hire, and I sure as shit did not want Bob's big boy, Mike McCarthy, had to say it, as the coach of the New York Giants. I feel like he would have been mistaken for a blueberry on the sideline. So I'm going to go through the chat, but in case you missed it, John Harbaugh is the new coach of the New York Giants, barring any setbacks. Now, again, this is a Giants team that's used to blowing leads, blowing stuff at the end of the fourth quarter. Giants very well could blow this, but I'm going to go moving forward, assuming that John Harbaugh is the next coach of the New York Giants. Mara's going to have to break the bank for the rest of the staff. Fuck it. Listen, listen. A little lone fact about the Giants. There's John Mara, Steve Tisch, half owners, 50-50. We got Ashkan here. There it is. Got Blake here. 50-50 owners. You'd think Steve Tisch, John Mara. And by the way, shout out to Steve Tisch for flying John Harbaugh out on the private jet, the New York Giants jet. Is there anything more beautiful than flying into East Rutherford, New Jersey on a PJ? He was flying out of Teterboro. I bet like a large majority of the United States does not know where or what Teterboro is. Teterboro McMillan? No. So we got John here. I'm very curious to hear this take. You're too young to realize this, but there's no way he was going anywhere else. Again, like I appreciate the condescending comment, but I get what you're saying. When you lay out the options, it's like, was he really going to go to Tennessee or Atlanta? Come on. Let's be serious here. He wasn't going to go to Vegas. This seemed like the most reliable option, and I'm glad for once the Giants didn't screw it up. I was outraged when the Giants didn't land Matt Rule and selected Joe Judge instead. I was right to be furious about Joe Judge, but we all know Matt Rule fizzled out immediately, and now he's coaching Nebraska. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I see a bunch of Matt Rule clips on my timeline. This guy has an inspiring quote every other week. Belongs in college, though. It just feels like the Giants got a for-real head coach. And for the first time since Tom Coughlin, the Giants aren't going new coach, first time to the well. Who the hell is this guy? It is an established, tried and true head coach. I hate ignoring the chat for as long as I've been, but I needed to get all this out, explain these situations. Who are they going to be the coordinators? What is the offense going to look like? If we hire Greg Roman, I'm not going to be thrilled. But again, the bar is Shane Bowen. The bar is Mike Kafka, who you guys know I'm not a huge fan of. a very passive play caller, just brutal to watch. I can't believe he stuck it out for the rest of the season. Again, I put my name in the ring. I feel like I've done a better job than this previous coaching staff. Easier said than done, though. Let me see what everybody else is saying. You see, Browns might hire Jags OC, the 30-year-old offensive coordinator. That would be fun. That would be cool. Let's see. Playoffs next year. Again, I don't know how I'm going to catch up to all this. Playoffs next year. Let's hope so. Mayor's going to have to break the bank for the rest of the staff. Again, we'll do it. He'll be good with the Giants. Had a stacked Ravens squad for years. Didn't do shit. Hell no, in a hard division, you're going to get fired by the end of the year. Should have signed Rams DC Shula. Yeah, again, listen. I said if you're just joining us, a coordinator, a first-time coach, could be anything. They could be amazing, but more likely than not, they won't be. That's why Brian Daboll and Mike McDaniels, both of which were the hot coordinators last hiring cycle the Giants were a part of, didn't work out. They fizzled out completely. Just because we've seen John Harbaugh in an extended period of time coach a team, and I'd say a relatively successful team, especially for Giants standards, to sit here and say, oh, well, he chokes in the playoffs. What's the point if you can't win the Super Bowl? Hey, you know the thing about coaches that can win a Super Bowl? Unless they're Nick Sirianni, they don't get fired. Like, what do you think? What do you think? The best coaches are just floating around waiting for a perfect offer? You think the best coach in the world wants to go to East Rutherford, New Jersey and coach this shitty team? Are you serious? Again, I'm going to miss a lot of these chats. My bad. A leader of men, so to say, a leader of men. A leader of men. That's what we got. Rule's not even that good of a college coach. I agree. He's just good at talking. Big hire. Matt Rule didn't get a fair shake, but he's making $8 million a year in college. I like how we're having a Matt Rule discussion. Can you imagine if we had Jim Schwartz as DC on top of this? Again, I'd start crying. If the Giants could bring on good coordinators, I'd start crying. It's better than Nick Sirianni. Gail's here. Chris is here. We got the whole squad here. I didn't expect to stream tonight. Again, these lights were off. I was in this bed right here, ready to crash, ready to call it a night. Been going to bed early, and can't now. Now we have a whole can of worms to unpack. I didn't want to stream too early on this. I saw Talking Giants, which is the Giants YouTube channel. If you couldn't piece that together, they were doing a whole Harbaugh watch stream where you sit around, drink beer, and do nothing other than project the future. Who gives a damn? But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scrolling Twitter on Safari like a real American, by the way. Scrolling Twitter because I don't have the app downloaded on Safari like a loser. Checking Adam Schefter and all the reporters. Ricky, if he is a lesser known Giants reporter, not even sure if he's an actual reporter. Ricky called it though. I've been looking at the Kalshi odds. I've been looking at the rumors. I've been following Flight Tracker, all the stuff, just to guarantee the Giants could get a winner in this hiring cycle. To anyone that thinks this isn't a good hire, that's an opinion you're allowed to have. But what I will say is the Giants made it very, very clear that they did not want a first-time head coach for obvious reasons. They wanted a retread, and you can't get a better retread than John Harbaugh. I'd rather have him than Mike Tomlin. I'd rather have him than Kev Stefanski. I'd rather have him than Mike McCarthy and any of the new coordinators. Look, you can afford to take a swing and miss on a coordinator if you're the Browns or if you're the damn Titans. Who cares? The Giants are always in the news for being terrible. And like, if he raises the Giants floor, that's good. That's all you can ask for at this point of the game. All right. Oh boy, I would have rather had Mike Tomlin. Why? Harbaugh averaged 10 wins a year. We're averaging 10 losses a year. I'll take him. Exactly. And if John agrees, that's all I need. I don't think the Raiders are willing to trade for Tomlin. I don't think Tomlin's willing to go there, but I don't think anybody. Listen, Ashkan is saying I would have rather had Mike Tomlin. Didn't have a losing season in 19 years. I would much rather have a coach that has won a Super Bowl since after 2008. Mike Tomlin has the longest losing playoff streak ever. That's why I wouldn't want him. Not that he's even in the hiring pool, because the Steelers retain his rights anyway. And I think John Harbaugh's a better fit anyway. John Harbaugh brings on better staffs. Mike Tomlin hired Arthur Smith, for God's sakes. Don't forget Scadaboo. I could not forget Scadaboo. I was just reading an article like right before this. It's on my phone if you didn't believe me. Ranking draft classes. And if you're curious, I don't know who wrote this. Aaron Schatz, everybody's favorite ESPN beat writer, Aaron Schatz. And let's just say he ranked the rookie classes in order. Number one being the newer, and I'm not saying this is law, just, I was reading the article. Saints at 1, Browns at 2, Giants at 3. Joe Shane's a clown. Joe Shane's an idiot. He overpaid Darius Slayton. His last free agency class in general was complete horseshit, but he was able to secure this. He was able to not screw it up once. For the first time in years, Charlie Brown kicked the football, and I'm happy to see it. This might not work, but like, there's no guarantees in the NFL. You know what I mean? What else? Tomlin would have cost you draft picks. That's another good point. You would need to trade for Tomlin. Tomlin's so obviously the next Raiders coach. First I heard of this. Congrats on a thanks, Chard win. Hopefully we can get some competitive football between JD5 and Dart. Hey man, you know, hopefully they could both be healthy. Honestly. What was the Adebo injury? I'm not even sure. Bruised cervix. The only upside to hanging on Dable another year is it frees up money to do this. They're not in great cap shape. They have to invest in the coaching staff to compensate that. Yes, and here's what I was gonna say. I got sidetracked. Again, Giants have, to most, my stomach is killing me. Two owners. Two owners. John Mara and Steve Tisch. All right, that's what everybody thinks, right? You have John Mara, who's always involved, and, you know, he's sick. I hope the guy gets better soon. Steve Tisch, who's been on Shark Tank a couple of times, doesn't really seem too focused on the operations. But there's a third. I don't remember the first name. I know it's a woman. I want to say Julie Koch? I don't, Koch. Just bought into the Giants, 10% share. This woman's fairly rich, fairly well off, and that's where the Giants are going to get the rest of their money. There you go. Just like that, the third or fourth most valuable franchise in the NFL, top 10 in North American sports, can now afford their head coach. Thank God. Thank God. Hello, Mac Jones. Jaden Darkin, CT by year 5. Look, Jaden Daniels weighs 110 pounds. Jackson Dart could just learn how to slide. Harbaugh basically downgraded the same team, run-based teams with shitty O-lines and below-average defenses. Okay, just say you don't know ball. Like, that's not how I describe the Giants at all. Like, but look, talent-wise and personnel-wise, I would not say the Giants have a below-average defense. Okay, terrible run defense, I'll give you that. But there are pieces there to be a better defense. Okay, run-based teams, I wouldn't say that. The Giants have been just running it. The Giants have been running the ball a lot to combat just, let's get this season over with. Let's get through these games as fast as we can and not get anyone injured. The Giants very well could get a vertical offense. And what else did you say? Shitty O-lines. Actually, if the Giants re-signed Jermaine Illuminor, I feel pretty good about the offensive line. The offensive line was middle of the pack this year, sometimes pretty decent. So again, it's pretty clear and obvious Oshkon does not watch Giants football, and that's fine. I don't know why anyone would watch Giants football, to be honest with you. But to say the Giants have a bad defense, a shitty O-line, or a run-first team is just a gross misalignment of what they actually are. They've always been able to afford it. You're too young to realize this. The head coach of the New York Giants is the job in the NFL. If you can do it, that never changed despite the losing. I'm really glad you said that, John. Muhammad said it's not what the Giants can do for Harbaugh, it's what Harbaugh can do for the Giants. Exactly. Pieces, your defense was straight shit this year. And your defense just got lit up by the Panthers. So what are we talking about here? Anyways, what I was gonna say about John is I'm really glad you said that, because this is more so a recognition of that there is still like a sheen to the New York Giants head coaching job. There's still a point. There still is some Giants pride. I was worried that kind of left through all the losing, that the Giants pride and just the allure of the position has faded away, and we wouldn't be able to pull a guy like John Harbaugh. That was what I said last stream, or maybe a few streams ago. If we mess this up, it is a huge indicator that the Giants are not the prestigious organization that most serious football fans think they are. So this, more so than anything, is an indicator that Big Blue is still like strong and true and a real goddamn team. So anyways, see ya, Chris. I'll be praying your downfall, and it's the only way. Hey, Chris, at least you still have your coach, Zach Taylor. He's awesome. Giants have good offensive piece, just depend if they don't die by week 4. And yes, the Giants are a thin team. I will concede that all day and every day. The Giants are a very thin team. They need depth pieces. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, what a bad hire. We should have gotten Chris Shula, the unproven defensive coordinator for a defense that just got lit up by the Panthers. You know what I mean? Like, oh, damn it. If only we got Clint Kubiak, the guy who can call halfback draw behind one of the best offensive lines in football. Again, you could throw, I don't even think these are bad coaches. You could throw caveats at every single coach candidate there is, though. and especially a first-time head coach, you have no idea how a coordinator is going to transfer to being a head coach. At least we know who John Harbaugh is. We're familiar with his game. We're familiar with his talent. And listen, the fact that the Ravens fired him, I was a little surprised, frankly. I didn't love how they approached that last drive. But again, John Harbaugh didn't fumble against Buffalo. That was Mark Andrews. John Harbaugh didn't throw it into triple coverage against the Chiefs. That was Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh didn't miss the kick against the Steelers a few weeks ago. Do I wish they ran it and used 3 of their timeouts instead of kneeling it down? Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and act like there's a coach in the NFL that hasn't made a mistake before. Again, the defending Super Bowl champion head coach is on the hot seat. And it's become so crystal clear to me over the past year, 4 or 5 months of consistent sports streaming, that there is one thing that every fan can agree on, and it's our head coach sucks. Everybody blames the head coach and coordinators, and as soon as those guys get cut, they're like, oh, we're saved. Greg Roman is gone. We're going to be amazing. Oh my gosh, Mike Tomlin's gone. Now we're free to hire Vance Joseph. It's like, you got to think past. It's okay. George Costanza says it best, right? When you go to quit your job, right? The walk-in is great. Being able to be like, yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here. Screw you. I quit. The walk out, a lot tougher. Figuring out what job's next, figuring out what you're going to do after this, what coach you're going to hire. Firing the head coach is a very temporary and quick high. I would know. I've seen the Giants do it 4 times now, and I've only been watching football for less than 15 years. So, yes. All right, I love McVay. Okay, I guess Rams fans are the one outlier, and Sean McVay is probably not even going to be coaching for the next, within 5 years. But again, this is not me talking about the Rams. I will not be rage baited by Oshkon on a night like tonight. But Batula was literally Hitler. See, there you go. OC did it again, huh? That meme is exactly how all NFL fans think, and everyone wants to fire their head coach. Chris, who just left, has said fire Zach consistently. He's still got a job. I don't think Bengals fans would be pissed if he got fired. Again, I could list coach after coach after coach. You guys get it. The Giants also interviewed. God, I should look up the list. I haven't even pulled up this Twitter tab. Okay, New York Giants head coaching interviews. All right, let's lay out these possible people we could have had. Oh boy, this is going to be a. Okay, we're going off Gemini. This could be wrong, but yeah. Okay, Ravens legend. There you go. Okay, so I don't think anyone in here would rather have, maybe, but I personally would prefer John Harbaugh over Kevin Stefanski. Okay, we can concede that. Raheem Morris was hated by Falcons fans. Antonio Pierce is not a head coach in the NFL. Let's be honest. Mike Kafka, who is not from the Eagles, but whatever. Mike Kafka was a complete train wreck. He was never going to get the job. Vance Joseph was a terrible head coach his first go. Darren Rizzi, who the hell is Darren Rizzi? Obviously, he's the Broncos offensive coordinator, or maybe not. Actually, I forget what Darren Rizzi does. Point is, first-time coach, could be anything. Stupid name. Clint Kubiak, already talked about him. Whatever. Lou Anarumo, you can miss me with Lou Anarumo. He's from the Colts, obviously, not Bengals. And Chris Shula, again. Chris Shula would have been cool, but I'll believe it when I see it. Colin Cowherd said it best. It's like, I know Don Shula is a good coach. Who the hell is Chris Shula? Rams DC. He could be anything. At least we know what John Harbaugh is. Hell, the Giants fans are doing whippets and hitting Fent. Exactly. Giants fans have been through it. We got American Dragon Son here. What is up, man? I actually threw a couple bucks down on Kalshi for Kev Stefanski to be the Falcons head coach, so there you go. John Harbaugh, CJ Racer is here. What is up, man? Yes, John Harbaugh, Spice Cake NB. The good people of New York City might have Raheem's head on the pointy stick by week 3 if he's the Giants. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. You can poke holes in any of these candidates. Coaches are dropping like flies. And honestly, I think it's a bit of a problem. I think most successful organizations are good because they keep consistent head coaches and, trust the whole process, not just 1 or 2 seasons to get that temporary high. It's sad. It's sad watching Giants go through the cycle. Have you ever seen Bill Belichick cry? I have not, but I would not have wanted to see him on the Giants sideline. Can you talk about how some great coordinators should never become head coach, just be demon coordinators like Fangio? That's exactly it. Some people are just better being coordinators. Brian Dable, Vic Fangio, probably Vance Joseph, if we're being honest, Steve Spagnuolo. How many times has Spags tried to be a head coach? Hundreds of times. Remember Eric Bieniemy? What is he doing? I think he's not even at where. What is Eric Bieniemy doing right now? Actually, I know he's not in Washington. What is Eric Bieniemy doing? Yeah, let's see. What is he doing now? He is the running back coach for the Chicago Bears. There was a point where Eric Bieniemy was considered a hot name in the coaching space. You got to get Eric Bieniemy. He coached Pat Mahomes. You know who else coached Pat Mahomes? Mike Kafka. He sucked. Unnecessary shot at Eric Bieniemy there. I'm sure a lot of us forgot about him. Like the Rams, but we also have a good GM. Right, you know, and an aging quarterback. Belichick cried on camera when they allowed him to tour Giants Stadium one last time before they demolished it in 2009. That's what the Giants meant to coaches. You see? John's been about it. John knows every coach that's ever been in and out of this organization. I trust John's opinion here. And John was saying earlier in the season, before we knew John Harbaugh was going to be available, and Kev Stefanski, of course, one could have guessed, pleading for Mike McCarthy because this regime wants some sort of stability, some sort of experienced coach. And out of all the experienced retread head coaches, far and away, John Harbaugh is the most valuable, in my opinion, at this point. And anybody saying, oh, this is an L, the Giants will never win a Super Bowl. That is not the bar. That is not the bar. At least not right now. At least not next season. With the cap being all hamstrung, with Darius Slayton getting paid big bucks, all this stuff. Irrelevant. Is that the Newman the Newman profile picture? Oh yeah, it is right here. Yeah, that's my Gmail user picture, the Newman, and that's my personal email that I just showed on stream. But anyways, you shoot me an email, I don't care. But we're getting political now. What did I say? I didn't think they would let Harbaugh go. Exactly, no one did. I'm all for it. What's your stance? Hiring Chris Shula would just be nepotism. I agree. Chris Shula could be a great coach. But the Giants just did not want... The Giants have been playing Russian roulette for the past, I don't know. Giants have been playing Russian roulette since Tom Coughlin. But instead of there being one bullet, it's been 5 bullets. And we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot. I didn't really stick the landing on that metaphor. It's late, all right? I didn't expect to stream. But damn it, I have been sweating it. I really, more so than anything, I wanted the Giants to get John Harbaugh, like I already said, to reestablish ourselves as a valuable landing spot for coaches. When you look at the head coach openings, no disrespect to the Miami Dolphins or the Atlanta Falcons, the Browns, the Titans. You know how you see where I'm going with this? The Browns, like, no, man. And John Harbaugh is not going to go to the Steelers. That Steelers job sucks, if we're being honest. Yeah, there's success and there's history there, but their roster's stuck for the next 3 seasons. They can't draft for anything. And that might have been on Mike Tomlin. Maybe Omar Khan needs to grow a pair and start actually drafting the players he wants. Time will tell. Again, in a year, I might be screaming to the mountaintop, John Harbaugh sucks. Why did he do this? Why did he do that? But again, we live in a world of hypotheticals. And in this, out of all the coaches available, this is our guy. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. Who picks up Tomlin? I think Tomlin's going to take a year, do the TV tour, TV press tour, probably get on CBS. He feels like a CBS kind of guy. And then, have some good commentary, and then we'll check back in with him in a year. Actually thought it would happen last year, and then this year couldn't because of all the injuries. Again, and that's the thing. John Harbaugh was with the Ravens for 18 seasons, I think. 18 or 19 seasons. I think 18. And, that's stability that you don't find in certain head coaching cycles. Need I remind you guys that Andy Reid was fired. Andy Reid was a fired head coach. And I think most serious NFL fans would consider Andy Reid top 5 head coach in the modern NFL. He was fired by the Eagles for Chip Kelly. And then Chip Kelly went. Who else came in? Someone else. Doug Peterson, who we all hate, at least around the Giants space. And then I have Nick Sirianni. I'm not saying that the Eagles shouldn't have fired Andy Reid. It was so long ago. But the point is that retread coaches have and can work. Bill Belichick with the Patriots was technically a retread, right? So there is precedent for something like this working. That is what I will say. Arizona Cardinals. I forgot that there even was a head coaching opportunity. Who the hell cares about the Arizona Cardinals? I know Damian joins here every now and again, but let's be real. The Cardinals are a disaster. Giants hired Joe Judge simply because Bill Belichick told them to. Yeah, exactly. All right, what do you think the next move is for the Giants after this? What do you hope Harbaugh can start establishing? I like that. I feel like I'm John Harbaugh in a press conference. What do you bring to the New York Giants? What do I think John Harbaugh will bring to the Giants? I think, for one, I think a winning mentality. And that sounds very fluff, very just arbitrary sports talk. A winning mentality, grit, toughness. But when you get a coach like John Harbaugh, that's like, okay, everybody in the building, every single member of the New York Giants roster and staff just had a collective moment of, okay, let's go. Like, okay, let's do this. We don't suck anymore. At least the standard is to not suck, okay? It's not like we're bringing back Dabes or bringing back Kafka. I think when it comes to John Harbaugh, who he brings as coordinators is very important. Now, if we could bring Jim Schwartz, oh my God, I'd punch my window out of excitement, break it, smash the damn thing. I don't care. But I don't think that's super realistic. Odds are John Harbaugh is going to bring certain members of his previous staffs. Their ties to Greg Roman. I wouldn't love Greg Roman just because his offense feels a little antiquated, but I have faith in Brian Daboll. I have faith in John Harbaugh to bring a decent, at least decent staff with him. Better than Mike Kafka, better than Shane Bowen, who I'd argue were some of the worst coordinators in the league this year, bar none. Shane Bowen, it's not even an argument. Mike Kafka, you can plead one way or another. Maybe he's just outside the top 20. I don't think so. But the fact of the matter is, whatever he brings and whatever he does, it will be better than what we just saw. And what we just saw with the last regime and the regime before that and the regime before that. Ben McAdoo threw players under the bus. He had a winning season. He threw players under the bus. He was a real asshole. It seemed like his slick back hair looked ridiculous. He had to go. Pat Shurmur accomplished nothing. He just torched people's careers, didn't develop anyone. Gone. Joe Judge, again. Joe Judge was a nightmare, and no one was excited when that hire happened. And as we all know, Brian Daboll had his moments, former coach of the year, and I think he's a great example of a talented offensive coordinator. If I were a betting man, and I guess I am because I bet Kev Stefanski to go to the Falcons, if I were a betting man, I would assume Brian Daboll goes to the Eagles just to screw us, but I think we'll be ready this time. We're bringing a tried and true, battle-tested head coach. Tom is getting a massive TV deal and never coming back. That would be a great scenario for Mike Tomlin. Start a podcast, hop on Nightcap. Could you imagine Mike Tomlin, Ocho, and Shannon Sharp just shooting the shit after every game? I'd tune into that every single night. I'd stop streaming because I'd be watching it so much. That's not true. Great hire for the Giants from Alliance fan. What's up, Dak Glob? Yes. Also helps me because I have Dart neighbors on a fantasy team. You see, that's the idea. Anybody involved with the New York Giants, anybody repping Big Blue like I am, there it is. The NY is thrilled about this hire, including Jackson Dart. And again, he said it himself. I'm sure you guys saw the clip. Jackson Dart on the sideline of the Ole Miss game said it's either Harbaugh or Stefanski. I would rather have Harbaugh, plain and simple. I put the clip of Bill crying in the Discord. All right, I'll check that out. Actually, yeah, let me see. Is he recorded or is it a link? If it's a link, I'll play it on stream. Crazy to think Chip Kelly was hired to replace Harbaugh, replace both Andy Reid and Jim Harbaugh. That's what I mean. So it's like coaching and just like coaching jobs. Oh my God, here we go. Let's see this really quick. We got 25 people in here. Drop a like if you haven't already. Jesus. Not used to this many people in here. What's up, guys? I got those gloves too. Let's go. Thanks, Mom, for the Christmas gift. Probably, I mean, the sound, I'm still playing music. You guys can tell what's going on here. Like, you can see he's tearing up. John is right. The proof is in the pudding about his love for the New York Giants. This is not Tennessee, all right? Nashville, Tennessee. This is not Atlanta, Georgia. All love to the Falcons, but it's not. This is not 4. Hey, that's my stream. 4 Super Bowls, all right? You know how many the Rams have? Less than 4. Oh, boy. It's worth watching for people too young to remember how special like your men were in the 80s. Yeah, the Giants used to be for real, man. Again, with this regime talk, might need to change the title of this live stream. I don't even remember. What is the name of this live stream? Who knows? Drop a like. There are maybe 5 teams of professional sports that have the kind of emotional bond the players who succeed there. And that was a big part of Jackson Dart and Russ. Hate it or love it. Russell Wilson said it all the time. He said, it's an honor to come to this franchise and just feel the history of this organization. Jackson Dart said it. There's something in the air. Communicating with Eli, asking for restaurant reservations. The whole nine. I'm way behind on the chat, though. Battle tested. He's only won one battle back when the NFL looked a whole lot different. What a weird argument. He's been in the playoffs like every year of his career. What do you mean he's only won one battle? Does making the playoffs mean nothing, Ashkan? Like, your team wins one Super Bowl and it's like, oh my God, wow. Look, man, I don't hate the Giants, but I feel bad for them. I think your ceiling is 9 wins next season. That would be a great year. That would be more than double our current wins. That's sick. That's absolutely sick. With an easier schedule, a healthy team, and just a better identity, a better culture. Like, is it an upgrade? Yes. Then there you go. Again, you could say, well, John Harbaugh can't win the big one. What's the ceiling? What is the ceiling of any of the available head coaching candidates? There's like 8 head coaches that are like set and forget in their job right now. Everybody else, the fan base wants gone. What the hell's Aaron Glenn going to accomplish? Probably nothing. So, like, I'm not going to sit here crying because John Harbaugh choked a couple of playoff games because he's gone toe-to-toe with some of the best teams of the last 5 to 10 years. Giants are cooked if they hire this bum. Come on. Expectations raised. 10 wins in the division is the bar next season. Yeah. And again, a division like 9 wins, 10 wins, that's a solid year. That very well could win the NFC East. If Philly continues this just downward spiral, if Washington continues to look like Washington, you want to talk about a not storied franchise. Sorry to my Commanders fans in here. And then Dallas is Dallas. Dallas will be fine, maybe, but they're not going to be great. Dallas hasn't been great forever. Hasn't stopped them from hiring coaches. Didn't stop them from hiring Marty Schottenheimer. Or is that Brian Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer's son. We're talking about a Nepo hire. Drop a like or your team will hire Raheem Morris or Zach Robinson. Exactly. Big things coming next year. They still keep Frank Gifford's table open at the steakhouse in Midtown that he used to go to. TV revenue happened because Wellington Merrick voted against his own pocketbook to support smaller teams. That's the number one reason why the NFL is what it is today financially. Exactly. The collective bargaining within the NFL. The Giants are a fundamental part of the story of the NFL. You can't tell the story. Rich Eisen says this, you can't tell the story of the NFL without the New York Giants. And that goes to the past and the present. You can't tell the story of the NFL without the helmet catch. I'm sorry, you just can't. Okay, and that might be me talking about past. Helmet catch was almost 20 years ago, but nonetheless, these are big, impactful moments, all right? Greg Roman OC, it's possible, but I hope not. Is there a better coach available? Probably the best choice ahead with this. I completely agree, just an idea. I completely agree. That's the thing about great head coaches. Why would they not have a job? You know what I mean? Why would I be happy about the playoffs if I'm not a contender? I'd hate to be Denver right now. I wouldn't hate to be Denver right now. I mean, I hate Denver, but I wouldn't hate to be Denver again. Ashkan's alone on an island tonight. Whatever. Giants going the Patriots route, winning 14 games, promising second-year quarterback, head coach, and a revenge with an easy schedule. Exactly. Mike Vrabel was a great hire. And if you remember, Mike Vrabel didn't win a Super Bowl in Tennessee. Mike Vrabel won a couple of playoff games, one of which was over John Harbaugh, if we're being fair. But still, Mike Vrabel got fired from the Tennessee Titans. You know what I mean? And now he's a good coach. The hiring worked out. I think there's a more likely chance than not that this hiring works out. And let me say this as someone who sat through Pat Shurmur, Ben McAdoo, Joe Judge, and Brian Dable. This is the first time I can confidently say this is an upgrade. An upgrade over the previous regime. And not because of these abstract hypotheticals about, this offensive coordinator could be awesome. I don't know why I'm wearing one glove. This offensive coordinator could be awesome. No, dude. Tangible results and evidence. We got Joe Nasty here. Yes, sir, Big Blue. If you wasn't a fan at 3-14, don't be a fan at 4-13. We could suck. But any team could suck. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year and they want their coach fired. Like, I'm not even trying to make fun of the Eagles anymore. It's just a textbook example of how strict, I don't even know if that's the right term, just reactive fans have become about coaching. It's crazy. Like, I'm an up-and-coming team. Yes, you'd have a point. Patriots, for example. Like, I'd hate to be the Buffalo Bills or a Ravens fan. You know what, Ashkan? I think you're in the middle of thinking the Rams have already won the Super Bowl. They're a good team. I hope they go far, but I think you're counting your chicks before they hatch, buddy. Tuck works for Goldman Sachs. Really? Oh, yeah, he does. And Chris Canty owns some real estate in New York, which apparently is like a slumlord, but that's neither here nor there. Whole thing with Harbaugh is he'll be the guy that stabilizes the franchise, but not sure if he's the guy to get us over the top. And again, that's possible. But I think with John Harbaugh, we can expect him to coach out his contract, whatever that is. And I'm assuming the Giants will back up the Brinks truck for this hire. So we'll see. The money's there. And I'm glad we're spending it on an actual, tangible, successful head coach. Just gonna say, let Hunna have his happiness. This is the best news this team's had in a minute. This is the hottest head coach in the market for a while. The Giants are special. They represent doing things with humanity and class. That's goddamn right. That's goddamn right. I'm fired up. Greg Roman better not. He's garbage. Again, we don't know. We don't know. We're projecting staff. Again, we'll wait and see. But coordinators, again, another thing I can definitely trust with John Harbaugh, he'll bring on a better staff than Brian Daboll did. I just said, but if you missed it, Giants had some of the worst coordinators and assistant coaches, minus Carmen Brasillo, who I hope hangs around, minus him. Everybody else sucks. Terrible. Defensive line coach. I want to say his name's Andre Jackson. I could be totally making that up. He was completely useless. Shane Bowen was lining up Abdul Carter at the Mike linebacker because we didn't have enough linebackers. And putting Dexter Lawrence in the wrong gap and taking him out on important plays and basically burying Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know what's going to happen, but the one thing I know about John Harbaugh, he can develop talent. And God knows the Giants have a lot of talent, all right? They've done nothing with it. I can admit that, but they have talent. They'll lose 1,000 games before they treat someone the wrong way. That's why they're the best fan base in sports and best franchise in sports. God damn it, let's go! They gave him a chance at a full recovery and paid him when he earned it. They traded him to his home in Tampa when we knew time was up. Yes, they do things with humanity and class. We had Stall at an OC. Don't mention my birds, but yeah, again, Kevin Patullo sucks. I'm not going to sit here defending the guy. I think every Eagles fan on planet Earth has known Kevin Patullo is not the guy since week 4, maybe. But Nick Sirianni didn't have the ability to, take the bull by the horns and fire him. And now every Eagles fan hates Nick Sirianni. And I'll pose this question that I don't know if Blake's still here or not, but Blake Robinson, who's in the chat sometimes, threw a wild question at me. He said, if Nick Sirianni gets fired, who picks him up? I couldn't answer the question. If John Harbaugh gets fired, who picks him up? Seemed like every single team wanted to, and I'm glad the Giants won the Harbaugh sweepstakes. It made the most sense. It seemed like a layup hire. Giants are in the best position to move forward. Quarterback is there. Talent on the defensive side. Talent on the offensive side of the ball. Although spotty, I would like another wide receiver maybe. Some tight end help would be sick. But time will tell. Time will tell. Can we bring Jeremy Shockey on in some way? Who do you want to win the Super Bowl this year? Not the Rams anymore. Not the Rams anymore. It was the Jags, but they got bounced. So I got to pull for the Bills at least this week. We all know how I feel about Denver and how most Giants fans feel about Denver, so Denver can suck it. I hope they lose by 50. But we'll be streaming. So if anybody in here is new or not, we're going to be streaming through Saturday and Sunday, so come hang out and watch these wild or divisional games with us. I'm sure some of them will be sick. Yeah, John Lee, just right there. Wow, I can see it right here in the physical chat at the top. While we're firing coaches, fire KOC. KOC won Coach of the Year last season, and Vikings fans want him out. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Giants are about more than winning and losing, and gets losses at a time like this. Exactly. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Unless you're Saquon Barkley. Need a Mark Jackson before you can get a Steve Kerr. Another great point. Another great point. That's not even what I think. Rams going to the Super Bowl if they beat Chicago. But what's exciting about being a Bills fan? Being consistently in the playoffs, jumping through tables, going to the games. Having an MVP quarterback, I don't know. There are things to be excited about. Again, if you go into it, if you're the kind of fan, and clearly this is Oshkon, which is fine, but if you're the kind of fan that thinks 31 fan bases should be pissed, I don't know what to tell you. If only one team can win the Super Bowl, and only one team can have the number 1 pick. That's what I mean. So it's like, what's there to be excited about being a Bills fan? Who would even want to be a Packers fan? It's like, they're a good team. They've won Super Bowls before. Bills haven't, but they're good. Bills have their moments, some fun games, some things to get excited about. Again, this year was so painful, guys. I mean, I watched most of the games on stream with a lot of you, and around halfway through the year, it was like, what's even the point of suiting up at this point if you're the New York Giants? Who cares? Now we have a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and that alone makes me happy. This does put a smile on my face. The way they treated JPP says it all. I think that's where you were going. Yes, and exactly. Totally. Respect. Culture. Seeing your team go to the AFC Championship every year, at some point you expect your team to go that far, and if they don't, it's cooked. Again, it's all like expectations are relative as a sports fan. Like it or not, we don't really have much input, right? Like it or not, us fans are just here for the ride. Okay, it's not like what I think is going to impact the Giants' day-to-day operations. Even if a Giants player watched this stream, it wouldn't matter. And I don't think there are any Giants players in the chat. Let me know, but I'm just saying, like, as fans, we don't have the impact we can. And what I've realized about sports fans is we love the illusion of control within our organization, being like, well, we can do this, and then let's do this. And then what if we traded him and then drafted him? We're just here, you know? We're just here hoping for the best. That's every fan base, hoping for the best. What's the point of being a Chiefs fan? You could have asked that 10 years ago, and it would have been like, what is the point? They suck. Dwayne Bowe and no one else. I feel like I'm just... Oshkon is really succeeding at rage baiting me right now. I'm happy about this hire, though. Wildcard predictions, Rams, Seahawks, Bills, Texans. You mean divisional, but I do agree. For the most part, I think the Niners might have a shot against the Seahawks. I just refuse to believe Sam Darnold in a big game still, but hopefully he wins. I'm not rooting against him. It's just hard to see. And then the Rams are going to just... I don't know if the Rams are going to kill the Bears, but we'll see. And Bills Texans seems pretty free. Can the Giants, please, for the love of God, fix that turf for the sake of sport? I would love for the Giants to just force the Jets out. I think the Jets have cursed the whole building. I would love for the Giants to just push the Jets out. Get them the hell out of New York or New Jersey. Move to Ontario. Move to Toronto. Move to Winnipeg. Be the Winnipeg Jets, but football. I don't care. I think the Jets have cursed MetLife Stadium, but I don't think they're going to change the turf because they just changed it. It looks like shit. It doesn't work. I agree, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's take our wins when we can. The turf still sucks. New coach and a fifth first round pick. Again, I still wish the Giants had the number one pick. If the Giants had the number one pick, especially now that Dante Moore is not coming out of college, which, again, I said I was going to talk about really quick. Isn't it hilarious being a Jets fan? And I went through r/Jets today. Most Jets fans are actually happy. They're like, I'm glad we're not forcing it with Dante Moore. And that's cool and all, but the Jets kind of do need a quarterback eventually. Eventually, the Jets are going to have to try to start winning games, but I don't think that's going to be next season. Funny stat about the Jets I heard today. If you can believe me, Zach Wilson is 10th in passing for the New York Jets. 10th. So if you look at a record book, most passing yards for a career, Zach Wilson is on it, and he's 10th. Jets are going to jet. So the fact that Dante Moore staying in school to avoid that team, I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to fault him for 1 second. Jarvis going Bears spread, Niners spread, Texans spread and outright, and then Bills spread and outright. I like it. I like it and agree. Giants can fulfill a prophecy and continue the streak of a Super Bowl every decade. Man, don't tell me with a good time, Mahi. If the Giants won a Super Bowl, and again, I've said this before, I can't say Giants Super Bowl without like giving a big smile. I can't, my body won't let me. But if that does happen before 2030, let's go. Let's go. And I think this is the first step to something like that. Saleh is trending. Why is Bob Saleh trending? Let's see. What is this? He has head coaching interviews, but won't take them. This is why he's trending. Twitter trending sucks right now, by the way. Twitter trending is completely useless, but whatever. Bills fan. We got my name was Yoint5. Whoa! First Bills fan in here. Let's go. All right. Nice. We can cross Bills off the fan bingo. Yes. What is up? My name was Yoint5429. Let's go. We got a Bills fan in here. Again, I know I'm behind on the chat, but I'm fired up that we got a Bills fan in here. We've been playing fan bingo all season, and the Bills have been a really tough one to catch. So I'm happy we got a Bills fan here. What is up, man? Bills fans get to watch competent football and not... Oh, you might actually not be a Bills fan. We'll see. I didn't read the rest of the chat. Bills fans get to watch competent football and not having to make mock drafts in September, October. Of course, I'm excited about this team getting the same treatment. Might be a Giants fan, actually, now that I read it. But still, man. Exactly. I'm sick of looking at mock drafts. I'm sick of thinking about draft pick. I'm sick of rooting against my own team to win. Said that in my tanking video. You feel stupid. It's just nice to actually go for wins. And for the next 2, 3, however long Harbaugh stays, we will be going for wins. There will be no tanking. There will be no draft pick talk. That doesn't mean the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl or make the playoffs every season, but at least there will be effort to go forward and not just tread water looking at draft picks, looking at building the team. And if the team sucks next year and the Giants got to cut Joe Shane and bring in another GM, so be it. So be it. At least this is a step in the right direction. That much we can all agree and know for sure. Want to put money on the Pats Texans game? Wow, Mahi's putting his money where his mouth is. There you go. You guys don't have a competent because you guys don't have a competent front office. Might have changed. I mean, we hired a coach. I don't know how our front office changed, but I guess Giants made John Madden cry too. Put that link in the Discord. I thought Les Snead and Sean McVay. I trust with my life. Well, they don't know you exist, Oshkosh. I'm sorry. That was mean. I'm just saying. Look, you're rage baiting me. I had to punch back. The North Sentinel Island Jets would go, wow, that's what I mean. The Manitoba Jets. You know what I mean? Send them to Alaska for all I care. Honestly, screw them. Jets will just tank again for more. He can't evade forever. There's my alarm. Bedtime. But yeah, so Jets suck. I don't know where else to land that plane. Heard they're changing the turf from MetLife to real grass for the World Cup, but not keeping it for future NFL seasons. Again, like the turf grass thing, I'll never understand it. That's the thing. The turf grass thing is just at this point for fans, it's just arguing. It's like yelling at a wall. It's like complaining that government officials can trade stocks. It sucks. It makes no sense. But I don't think us sitting here complaining about it is going to make any significant change in the near future. But again, that's just a cynical take on it. I wish the stadiums used grass, but again, injuries do happen on grass. Okay, again, I'm pro grass, anti turf, especially MetLife turf. Injuries do happen on grass too. I do wish they would keep the stupid turf and grass though. World Cup, by the way, when the U.S. hosts the World Cup, it's going to be such a joke, but that's neither here nor there. I trust. What was I? Yeah, because the money thing, FIFA has more money than the NFL and actually cares about their player safety. NFL's got it. The NFL can afford it. That once we know for sure. The NFL can afford it. Jets not getting the West Side Stadium because Dolan blocked them is the worst thing that happened to any NFL team in modern history. Of course, James Dolan has something to do with it. I don't know much about the West Side Stadium, but I will take that at face value. Of course, the Jets couldn't move thanks to James Dolan, who I don't even think has any ownership in the Jets, but thanks a lot, dude. There isn't a single grass field because it costs the NFL more money. Also, yeah, I'm a Giants fan for life, but also a Dolphins fan, so if you're missing Pico Cardi, you cross them off. All right, we'll take it. Giants fan, we'll take it. We need more Giants fans around here. Represent. Big Blue. Hey, thanks for the $9, Andy. Congrats on your head coach prayers for 9-8. Oh, shit, I don't have it on here. Hold on. There it is. Okay, I didn't have it on that stream. Thank you for the 980, Andy. You're the man. I love when you tune into these streams and then just pop in for a dono. But again, appreciate all you guys being here. This is fun. We're having a pretty active stream right now. It's good. Anyway, back to the Mac Jones film room. But thank you again, Andy, for the 980. Cardinals are the real poverty franchise of the NFL. Even as a Pats fan, I can't help but feel bad for the Jets. Yeah, seriously. And Cardinals are a real poverty franchise. No doubt about it. Losingest organization in football, all time. They have the most losses of any football team. So there you go. I think the Giants are like 7 in that, but whatever. Ravens played on grass. Turf may have been part of their negotiations. They're putting the World Cup on grass. Right. Oh, yeah, Honda's pro grass. Yeah, there you go. I got to take advantage. Give my name. Yeah, let's go. Pro grass. Pro reefer, as they say. I know they can afford it, but like they just might be a little, cheap. Cheap. Yeah. So, I'm fired up, man. Go Giants. I'm fired up, dude. Again, it's a good night to be a Giants fan. They missed out on Matt Rule, for God's sake. And since then, it's just, again, Brian Daboll was not a bad hire at the time. I was actually pretty stoked about it. The coach that coached up Josh Allen, we're going to get a quarterback. Maybe we can get something out of this Dan Jones guy. But then the Giants were good enough to re-sign Dan. It just was a perfect storm of things going wrong, right? Sure, you could say that. I have a feeling I know where you were going with that, Oshkon, but I'm going to stick with cheap. I was thinking of another word, though. Yeah. But what I was saying was, when Brian Daboll came on, I was excited. I was happy. It felt like us finally bringing on the smart coordinator, because Joe Judge was anything but that. Joe Judge was such a head-scratching move, and I was not plugged into football when we hired Pat Shurmur, but even I knew that was not an exciting hire, right? And then Ben McAdoo looked stupid as hell his second season, so that's all I'll say on him. But the point is that Brian Daboll is a perfect example of the coordinator that could be anybody. He could be the best coach in history. He could be pretty bad. Most first-time head coaches coming from coordinators end up being pretty bad. That's why Mike McDaniel and Brian Daboll are probably going to have to restart as coordinators. Like, you know what I mean? There's only a select few that can remain consistent head coaches. And I guess, that's that. I mean, for God's sake, Pete Carroll got a job last year. I wanted Flores at the time, but I was okay with Dable. Yeah. You see, Flores probably would have been better. And, in hindsight, Flores would have been a lot better. Would have kept the Giants out of the courtroom, but can't change the past. All you can do is learn for the future. And you can quote me on that. What's that Jalen Hurts say? You learn in reverse or whatever. Life happens forward, but you learn it backwards. Some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like something. Giants have clearly learned from their mistakes. And I another thing that I'm really happy about, I'm glad that Joe Schoen was not a significant deterrent to John Harbaugh coming to town, which means, at least in some facet, that a respected football mind, whatever you think of John Harbaugh, he is a respected, established football mind. He does not think Joe Schoen is a dumb moron. That's a score in my book. I haven't met Joe Schoen. I'm sure, I'm not going to say that dude doesn't know football, all right? I don't want to be that fan. He's made some head-scratching decisions, but if we're being candid, he drafted a hell of a class last year. He sucks in free agency. Hopefully John Harbaugh and whoever else comes on can help assist with the free agency signings and the contracts and the player development. And for the first time ever, the Giants can actually count on the players we draft getting developed properly. Because I'll say Brian Dable did a good job with Jackson Dart. I am 90% sure he just didn't coach anyone else. From what I saw, Hard Knocks, social media, and just every report I read, Brian Dable was working with Jackson Dart, fawning over Jackson Dart, loved the guy, and only cared about developing his quarterback. I'm sweating right now. It's indoors. It's January. I'm sweating indoors. Shane got demoted to lead scout. Did he? Wait. I would love McDaniel as OC. I'd freak out. If the Giants brought on Mike McDaniel as OC, I'd freak out. That would be I'd start another stream. I'd freak out. I'm glad for having Dable since he's basically the reason we traded for Dart in the first place. Exactly. It all kind of matriculates into where we are now, right? Shane got demoted to lead scout. You won't see him on TV at all. You hear him watch college ball. And there's a good chance to let Shane go after the draft. There you go. He's a college guy. I don't know if you're serious about the Shane demotion. I'm going to look that up just to make sure, but I'm assuming that's a joke. I'm assuming. Let's see what Schefter also said. A look at the Giants' future. But John Harbaugh was with the Eagles from 98 to 2007 before taking the Ravens. Coach now returns to the NFC East to take over as Giants head coach. First one is expected to be filled. Is there anything else here? Barring a setback, yeah. Giants believe they have franchise cornerstones. That's what I mean. Say what you will about the Giants. These are all stud players, right? Jackson Dart, Neighbors, Thomas, Lawrence, Burns, Carter, Scattaboo, among others. Theo Johnson. I want to pull up the, you see, Giants went with one head coach, Coughlin, since then they've gone a bunch of flip-flopping. The Giants are built on consistent head coaches. I don't know too much about the Giants' history. I thought I did, and then John came in the chat. What I will say, though, is Tom Coughlin was supposed to be fired before the 2007 Super Bowl. They didn't fire him. The Giants won a Super Bowl. Same thing goes for 2011. Fire Coughlin. Tear it all down. Eli sucks. Giants won a Super Bowl. If nothing else, John Harbaugh is a coach that we can trust through the uncertain times. He's the pirate that can sail through a storm. And frankly, that's all you can ask for. Going in circles, but I'm happy. He loves Scattaboo too. Nice stand by the stance. This Giants team's going to be much better once they're healthy next season. I know the team looked like last season, but something says plus with this team. Yeah. It feels very Patriots of this year, or Patriots of last year. Feels very Patriots, where it's like the quarterback is there. There are talented pieces. The only difference is the Patriots had a ton of cap space and they spent it accordingly. And they still have a decent amount of cap space. I think around 50, 60 million. So Patriots are definitely going for a big swing next year or the season following. Or I should say this season. They're still in the playoffs, but come on. We all saw the Chargers game. But what I will say is the Giants feel like upward trajectory. Bang. Harbaugh Giants coming to Houston next season. Oh boy. That's going to be fun. God. Probably the defending Super Bowl champ Houston Texans. To be honest with you, I think the Texans actually have a pretty good shot at going far into the playoffs, if I'm being honest. We'll see, though. Thank you, New York. Us in Atlanta didn't need Harbaugh. Rise up. Hey, man, there you go. I think Stefanski's the guy. There you go. I think Stefanski's going to do good things in Atlanta. Anything's better than Arthur Smith. I know they just had Raheem Morris, but again, it's been a lot of turnover in the ATL. Neighbors and Scat especially give me confidence with the team. This ain't even my team. That's what I mean. Everybody I know, and football fans and non-football fans alike, will come up to me I go to parties, meet people that aren't really plugged in, people that just kind of watch sports for the hell of it. People that don't let this define their lives. How could you live like that? You don't let people in colored shirts running around define your day-to-day, your emotions every single week? What is wrong with you? I meet people who are football casuals, and they'll even tell me, they'll say, I like what the Giants are doing. I think they're going to be good next year. I like Jackson Dart and that other guy. What's his Cam Kazik? What's his name? Scattaboo. I like them. I like their style. I like the cut of his jib. What an expression. And for the first time ever, I'll appreciate it. I'll accept it. I will wear the positive energy. Because guess what? The Giants can't lose another game until September. So we got eight and a half months until about 8 months where the Giants can't lose another game. I'm just going to ride the hopium train until then. If the Giants lose 40-0 at home in the rain on Sunday Night Football week 1, then so be it. But until then, I'll be a happy man. What are you talking about? He's a real football man. The end. Yeah, Deontay Banks, the most important piece. Yeah, you see, there you go. How many drops does Slayton have before he's cut? I mean, if it were up to me, Slayton would have been cut last year. But again, can't travel in a time machine, and he is overpaid, and we are locked into Darius Slayton at least for another season. Now the Giants going to become the Chargers of the East. I mean, you realize, that's not even possible. The Chargers are in a league of their own. By the way, the Chargers are in a league of their own of choking in the playoffs. The Giants have won a playoff game within the last 4 seasons. The Chargers have not. And the Giants have been terrible. It's not even the same thing. Again, it's super reductive to be like, oh, they choke in the playoffs, so they got to be the Chargers. No, the Chargers are a specific league of their own terrible. We got Brady here. We got Hank here. We got everybody, the whole gang's here. I'm having fun. And I'm just arguing with Oshkan about how if you don't have 3 or 4 of the best head coaches in the NFL, you may as well just give up. Whatever. Banks really stepped it up as a kick returner. Let's keep him for shits and giggles. Yeah, I guess he's a hell of a punt returner. There you go. We retired Rise Up. It's get fucking set now because of Matty Eyes. Not saying New York Giants will make a handful of Super Bowls, but this could be the Andy Reid reset for Harbaugh. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of ways this can go, and it might not work out, but I'm gonna be happy until we find out. Giants got some stable coaching. Exactly. You got Brady here. You're gonna forget about the team and suddenly find out he got cut on the second day of camp. Maybe. Oshkan's a Hall of Fame rage beater. That is his thing. So worried there hasn't been much news in the Browns likely hire. Yeah, who did I pick the Browns were gonna get? I don't even remember. I thought the Browns, and we did our little coaching tier list, and I didn't even get the Steelers because we did it on Monday, but I projected the Browns to get Mike McCarthy as their kind of retread savior. We'll see how that pans out, but I'm just glad he's not wearing blue. This graphic right here is making me happy. This graphic right here is making me pretty damn happy. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I misread that. I thought, why is he trending at this time of night? But anyways, Chargers are a joke. They need Jim because they won't pay anyone. Giants need to get coordinators right now. Can't have another Shane Bowen. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is, I trust John Harbaugh amongst all these guys to bring on the best staff of serious head coaching candidates. Even Chris Shula, he would have to bring on the Rams assistant passing game coordinator and the equipment guy to be DC. Because why would any successful assistant coach leave LA unless they're getting a promotion? My throat is dry, bone dry. We got Zero Sugar A&W for the night. There it is. Oh, man. Can't believe it. Didn't think it was going to happen this soon. As soon as I read the alert that John Harbaugh was flying out of Teterboro to go back to Baltimore to discuss with more teams, I thought, great. We fucked up. We butchered it. We didn't give him the hard sell. We didn't give him a good pitch. He's not going to be our coach. He's going to go to Atlanta or something. And it seems like some Atlanta fans, who said it? I didn't. Who said it? Millie Mills, which again, welcome to the stream, Millie. Who joined the stream. Again, it could have gone to Atlanta, and I would have been pissed. More so because it shows the Giants weren't the desirable job that I thought they were. This confirms that the Giants are for real again. Unlike the Chargers, who, like John said, are a joke. Having hope is the best part of being a fan. It can be magical sometimes. Harbaugh better not pull that shit he did with Derrick Henry with Scatterboot. Yeah. Give Devin Singletary, the workload. We'll see. I think John Harbaugh, given the fact that he lost his job, especially because Steve Biscotti, I think his name is. Steve Biscoff, like the cookie. The Ravens, I'm sure you guys saw this, but the Ravens owner came out and they asked him at a presser, like, would you have fired John Harbaugh if Tyler Luke made that kick? He's like, yep, but a week later. That's a little harsh. Now that John Harbaugh is the coach of the New York Giants, I'm like, screw you, Biscotti guy. Like, you know, that's how I feel. Now I feel like I got to defend my coach. Because that was just below the belt. That was a crazy thing to say. I hope that John Harbaugh can take this reset and learn from what was holding him back prior. We'll see. We will see. Man, I just hope the Giants are actually good. You know, I'm not a fan of anything, but I like them more than Cowboys Eagles. Well, I'll take that. Harbaugh, man, I don't know. He's a sketchy individual. Giants are for real again is a pretty bold statement. Well, by your metrics, there are only 4 or 5 teams that are for real. So I would hate being a Bills fan. What's the point of being a Packer fan? It's like, all right. Okay. the Rams won a wild card game against the Panthers. Let's not act like the job's finished. All right. They beat the worst team in the playoffs. Anyways. Tennessee and Atlanta are college football towns. That's like 15 levels below the Giants job. He wasn't taking either of those jobs at his age. Yeah, I agree. And John Harbaugh is in his 60s. So, look, among candidates, I will take it. I'm not going to lie, Biscotti's pressure was badass. I mean, again, I'm glad he said what he was thinking. But now that John Harbaugh is the coach, I'm like, screw you, man. Oh, bro, Packers have history. So do the Giants. Do you think the Giants don't have history? Like, most big sports moments, the Giants have been there. You know what I mean? The Giants have more history. Like, fuck it. The Giants have more history than the Packers. There you go. Done. Those are the most serial chokers ever. You took that so out of proportion. Well, like, I don't really understand your point here. It's like teams lose in the playoffs. Yeah, any AFC team is a serial choker. Literally any coach from the AFC is unless it's Bill Belichick, who no one wants, or Andy Reid. All the coaches either suck or are serial chokers. You know what I mean? Because they didn't win a Super Bowl. You know, like what? Packers have history because of the Giants. There you go. Yeah, 100%. So I'm happy for the bright future ahead, but damn, I'll miss the plain sightings above MetLife and the funny messages. I'll always love those fan shenanigans. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. You know, it's fun when the Giants fans can like wear being bad and joke about the medium Pepsi and all the other stuff. But it's nice to feel like a serious franchise for the first time in a while, and that's the bar. Can my team stop catching strays, man? I'm not even again. Vince Lombardi was our OC before he went there. Yeah, and Tom Landry was there too. Yeah, there you go. John beat me to the punch. Yeah, Tom Landry was DC. No, again, this isn't shade to the Packers. It's not shade to the Packers. I just think Oshkan has funny metrics for like judging head coaches. Like John Harbaugh's sketchy, and Mike McCarthy isn't. And Clint Kubiak isn't. Like Chris Shula might get a job. I don't think he's going to get a job this cycle. So, like, again, it's just gauging, and it's like sitting here and acting like, we know how coordinators are going to turn out. Like, coordinators are a complete shot in the dark. It's like drafting a quarterback, but with a lower hit rate. Most coordinators end up getting fired. Most coordinators, would anybody in here be shocked if in 3 or 4 years Liam Cohen is fired and, consensusly hated in Jacksonville? He's the hot name right now. Everybody loves him. You know who else was the hot name for a bad team that hired a head coach? Brian Dable, coach of the year. Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year. KOC, coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, the goalpost continues to move and the standard continues to climb, and the what's the word? I don't know. It's like buying a new car. It just depreciates over time. It gets less fun. You don't care as much that it's got CarPlay or that the bezels are a certain color. You don't care after 3 or 4 years. The novelty wears off. That's what I was trying to say with these new coaching hires. And I'm just glad the Giants got an experienced, tried and true kind of guy. Go look at a picture of Yankee Stadium in the 50s before Lombardi put Super Bowls together. Football as a product. Was born in New York in the 50s. Liam Cohen is that guy, don't you there? And I hate the Jags, but goddamn, that guy's got some swag. But you know what? But again, it's every coach, if you didn't watch my The Art of Great Coaching video, I would very well recommend checking that out, especially if you're new to the channel. Basically, first-time head coaches almost always do better, just because there's excitement, the culture can rally behind them, and that's cool. I'm not saying Liam Cohen's gonna get fired. I'm just saying in a few years, the opinion on him could completely change. That's just the NFL. Duval. Everyone thought Eric Bieniemy would be the best head coach head coach, and he failed after he left KC. Yeah, I don't know if you were here or not, Brady. Eric Bieniemy, we checked, is the RB coach for the Bears. So he's basically not doing anything. Come on. Don't remind me of the magical 2020 Brown season. Yeah. You see, and now Kevin Stefanski's gone. So it's like, coaches are tough. Coaches are tough. And every fan base wants coaches gone. In fact, if we look... Okay, I'm just going to all NFL teams. I just want to pull this up really quick. And just really quick. I don't know what. Null. Okay. That picture was perfect. Here we go. This will work. Image. Here we go. Bang. Okay, let's go. Ravens, fired head coach. Bengals, they want their coach gone. Browns, fired head coach. Steelers, fired head coach. Texans, new coach within the last 2 years, but I think Miko's awesome. Young coach, but I think he's awesome. Good hire. Colts, they've wanted Shane Steichen gone on and off for the past 4 seasons. He'll probably be gone after next season unless the Colts make a playoff push, which I don't think it's going to happen. Jags, new coach. Titans, coaching vacancy. Bills, if the Bills lost to the Jags, there was a very serious shot that Sean McDermott would have gotten fired. I think we can all agree on that. Dolphins, coaching vacancy. Patriots, new coach. Jets, new coach, who sucks, by the way. Broncos, new coach. Retread, by the way. Sean Payton didn't really exit New Orleans with a bunch of success. Just saying. Chiefs, Andy Reid, obviously. Raiders, coaching vacancy. Chargers. People are starting to question Harbaugh. They used Greg Roman as the scapegoat. You want to talk about playoff chokes? I think Jim is much more guilty than John, and if you want evidence for that, just look up the 2013 Super Bowl. Bears, new coach. Lions, Dan Campbell's cool, but he can't hire a staff to save his life. Anyway, but yeah, Lions are a different case. Packers, there was genuine thought that Matt LaFleur was going to get fired. KOC, John just confirmed it. Vikings fans want him gone. Falcons, coaching vacancy. Panthers, I think Dave Canales is not that great, personally, but... Again, relatively new coaching hire. Saints, new coach, Kellen Moore, who could be anything. Buccaneers, Todd Bowles. I'm not saying Todd Bowles was going to get fired, but it wouldn't have been the craziest thing ever. I think people are starting to get kind of sick of him in Tampa. Cowboys, new coach. Giants, Harbaugh. Eagles, everybody hates Nick Sirianni, let's be honest. Manders, Dan Quinn is kind of an outlier in this conversation. A relatively new coach, though. Cards, vacancy. Rams, great coach. Niners, Kyle Shanahan's awesome. Not going to disagree with that. Seahawks, Mike McDonald, relatively new coach. So what I'm saying is there's only a few really tried and tested coaches that you can just set and forget in the modern NFL. That's my thesis, all right? You can't even coach a kid's flag football team. There needs to be some heart. Wait, where's Gail? I know he'd be happy to see that. Wait, I can't even coach a kid's flag football team. I have before, and the team was sick. I taught those little kids how to catch. Harbaugh doesn't have heart. I don't disagree with Jim Harbaugh doesn't have heart. I didn't know that you knew John Harbaugh on a first name basis, though. John was the one who almost choked away the Super Bowl, and Crabtree didn't get a PI call in the last play would be a whole different story. Either way, Jim won. John won. Plain and simple. We can play the if game all day. If the lights stayed on, maybe the Ravens would have won by 30. You know what I mean? The Ravens won the game. Okay. If the helmet catch doesn't happen, then Giants are probably dealing with Jet stuff. All right. So, point's been made. Listen, this might not work. I'll say it. For the breaking news, the new, fired head coach may not work with one of the losingest teams over the last 10 years. But I think out of this head coaching cycle, this was my top pick, and I'm glad clearly the Giants' top pick, and I'm glad they got their guy. We got RJ Bricks here coming in late as usual, but I'll take it. Yeah, your kid's flag football team was playing the 0-16 Browns, man. We made the playoffs. What do you mean? One of my youth flag teams was actually the Chargers, and guess what? We won a playoff game. My youth flag Chargers team has won a playoff game more recently than the actual Chargers. Let that one sink in. After watching the Giants hire Pat special teams coordinator, I'm very happy they signed a proven guy. 100%. It's going to feel great being able to play Madden with my own team and their roster and not immediately get depression after seeing the overall EA gave them. The Giants will be more respected than anything else. Harbaugh went to the AFC Championship in his first year with a rookie quarterback that was playing D2 ball before that. That's right. Let's not forget, John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was cool. Fun guy, nice dude. I think Jackson Dart's a better prospect. I'll say it. Harbaugh probably the most monotone motherfucker. I disagree. Tell me one character trait of Kellen Moore. I disagree. I think kind of spent more time getting rage baited than actually celebrating the new hire. I know, seriously, I just gotta mute Oshkon. But no, nothing's gonna shoot me down here. I didn't even think I was gonna get on stream. Like I said, I was getting ready for bed. Now I'm sweating, drinking an A&W with no caffeine. By the way, if you like diet soda, 0 sugar A&W, can't be beat. But yeah, I did not think tonight was gonna be the night we stream. So, you know, if you're new around here, drop a like, subscribe if you want, but that would probably be cool. But again, subscribers don't mean too much, but subscribe if you want. Yeah, we streamed through the playoff games. John Harbaugh's a New York Giant. Breaking news: Packers beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl 1. I love this bit. Kellen Moore's a bum. Who said that? I said he doesn't have a. He's very monotone. I said, give me one character trait of Kellen Moore. Ray Lewis was on that team. Nuff said, yeah, fair enough. But again, I mean, they won a Super Bowl. They've won a Super Bowl, guys. Is there anything else that Shefty is reporting? Any kind of coordinator news? Any contract news? Anything at all? Nope. Still the graphic. Yeah. So let's go on Twitter. Again, if you see any liberal mumbo jumbo, just ignore it. There was a lot of talk this season about how Joe Shanghai would be a detriment to the Giants coaching search. I had one GM text me that he couldn't see Harbaugh talking to New York because of the uncertainty with Shane. Clearly not the case. I think Joe deserves a lot of credit for getting this done. See? That's what I was saying. Here, let's see what Ian has to say.
It certainly seems like John Harbaugh will make a decision, pick where he wants to go. Is it the New York Giants? Is it the Tennessee Titans? Perhaps even the Atlanta Falcons, and everyone else will follow in after that. And sometimes that happens with this coaching carousel. You have one big fish, and no one is
I don't
going
think
to
we
make
need to
a
see
move
this.
until that.
This isn't even news. Bob Skinner's got a take. They talked about it on SNY.
Well, we're going to find out, Eamon, in the coming hours and days. This is all kind of breaking in the moment and happening pretty quick. But ultimately, the Giants' push and the Giants' effort to make sure that Harbaugh didn't leave their building were successful. He did technically go home, yes, to Baltimore, but the talks continued. And now there is complete.
You got Wi-Fi on the flight
within the Giants building with Harbaugh that he will be their next coach. And Eamon, you can't discount or discredit how monumental of a move this is for the Giants. When they began their search for their next head coach way back midway through the year when they made the decision to fire Brian Daboll, they identified characteristics that they wanted their next coach to have. They were looking for somebody who was going to provide.
I'm going to pause this out with the YouTube bots. Don't kill me.
Leadership within the locker room, cultivate the locker room, bring guys together, show a level of accountability within the players and the staff that they did not believe was present within this organization the last couple of years. And one of the many reasons for so much
Giants need a leader more than anything. A leader.
The Giants franchise like a plague. They had candidates they believed fit that bill and candidates that they were going to target. But once Harbaugh shook free from the Ravens, he became the number one person that this organization wanted. John Maris, Steve Tisch, Chris Mara, Joe Shane. This was the
why do we
guy
include Chris
that
in there?
They wanted to be their next head coach. They did everything in their power to get him, and guess what? They did.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I'm not a reporter, but still. Now, let's hear what Stephen A has to say about it. Anyway, the point is, let's go back to Adam Schefter or Rap Sheet. Let's see, does Rap Sheet have anything? Whole lot of nothing. Yeah, okay. We'll go back to Shefty's jersey swap. There it is. But yeah, so that's the that's the 411, if you will. And go Giants. Boy. All right. Giants see you guys have Bobby Okereke. It's the same thing. Yeah, seriously. Kellen Moore, that's a guy who knows football. Actually could do what Patullo couldn't. Yeah, seriously. Wow, how brave. Coach one of the most talented offenses in history to a Super Bowl. Giants need Pete Carroll and that coaching staff, a seasoned veteran who can add some spice to the sauce. Yeah, that's the move. Shane is a man made like Joe Pesci was in Goodfellas. Gotta watch Goodfellas. I'm sure that's a good reference though. Jalen Hurts had 11 different OCs throughout his 9-year college and NFL career. I see a pattern. Yeah, he can't play. No, I think Brian Daboll is going to be an Eagle, and I think it's going to work. And that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But yeah, Stephen A was talking about Devontae. Go back. I couldn't give less of a shit. Listen, it's Stephen A. You don't need to. I saw a tweet today, and I'm going to misquote it, but it was basically like Stephen A, when talking about an NFL team, I think I liked it, so I might be able to find it. But when talking about NFL team, Stephen A will just list like the top 3 or 4 best players and be like, that brother could ball. There's no denying that. I'm going with that team. That's his take. He when Stephen A names a non-quarterback or wide receiver, a non-quarterback wide receiver running back, I'm shocked. I think one time he said Jeffrey Simmons, and I was just like, Stephen A knows who Jeffrey Simmons is? Let's go. Such an idiot. Such a moron. No one wants to hear Stephen A's opinion on anything. If there was a button on my phone that could just say remove any sighting of Stephen A, anything he says, any Stephen A moment he called Christian Kirk, Charlie Kirk. If I could remove any Stephen A mention from my life, I would hit that button immediately. Point made. He teaches me new rage baiting tactics. Yeah, seriously. He taught you well. He taught you well. But yeah, I feel like the point has been made. I could sit here and act like projecting offensive coordinators. I have no idea. I've heard, obviously, connections to Zach Orr on the, I was going to say Bobby Orr, shout out Bruins. But Zach Orr on the defensive side seems like an instant candidate for the DC. Greg Roman for OC. Also, what's his name? Damn it. What is his name? Oh my God, I know his name. The other OC. He's got a really weird name. Monken, Todd Monken, another possible candidate. If between those two, this is me just totally parroting what I heard in another YouTube video, by the way, because I don't follow coordinators like I should, unless their name's Shane Bowen. But if Todd, I would probably prefer Todd Monken in that equation out of those two, just because more utilization of a vertical passing attack, better offense overall. I'm really not trying to see Greg Roman in blue, but again, you can fire coordinators in and out. Coordinators come and go. A coach that can build a culture and bring on the right staff, and more so than anything, have the rest of the team feel like winners is more important than anything in the modern NFL. I said it before in my coaching video. A good coach is not about understanding schemes. It's not about understanding the X's and O's. It's about understanding the bros. It's about understanding how to communicate and lead a team. Be a leader of men. Forward and honest communication. Ability to interact with all kinds of personalities and develop and manage talent. That's how you be a great coach. I wonder if I can find the article. NFL, what makes great coaching? Let's see. Like I said in my coaching video, this is such a great article. Where is it? Ah, oh, damn it. It might actually be in the bio. Ah, damn it. It might actually be in the bio of my coaching video. I'm going to try to find this really quick. If I can't find it, so be it. Again, if you're just joining, drop a like, please. We got a few people in here, which makes me really happy. I love how Giants news happening. You guys tuned into the Hunnaball stream. Makes me so happy. So drop a like if you haven't already. Let's see. Of course I didn't link it, my lazy ass. All right, then I'll find it at a later date. But basically, the NFL.com made this article about like what makes a great coach, and they asked genuine players, really good players like Richard Sherman, Joe Thomas, etc. And they all basically said just being honest, being upfront, being good communicators, being good leaders, being able to interact with different kinds of personalities, being calm under pressure, all that stuff. The seemingly meaningless stuff matters a lot. Leader of men. Like Sean McVay, developed talent like Sean McVay, scout talent like Sean McVay. I didn't know Sean McVay made draft picks. Make this a marathon stream until a coordinator gets hired. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. It is 1:30 on the East Coast. I am not trying to keep anyone up, and we are getting late, but we still have more to discuss, so we're not hopping off yet. The best is when he does it for the NBA and the player's no longer on the team. Yeah, no, I could have named this stream Let's Rip on. During the summer, we should just do a Let's Rip on Stephen A stream and just collect his worst moments and just go through all of them just on stream. Let's Rip on Stephen A, but not tonight. Tonight, we're celebrating New York Giants. People don't actually need to be an okay sports analyst, just be a rage baiter. That's Skip Bayless' whole career. Exactly. Disney doesn't care if you actually know about the game. Disney just wants someone that gets clicks. And Stephen A gets clicks, but not from me. To be fair, Harbaugh's also a special teams coordinator who got hired to be a culture guy. Yeah, but he proved he could do it. And whether you think he's a choker or a great coach, I see a guy who consistently leads his team to the playoffs, consistently leads his team to winning records, and I will take that. You make me happy, Hunter. Thanks, RJ. Let's go. I'll take it. Funny, this time the button turned into a soccer ball. Drop a like, it turns into a soccer ball. Nothing like using hashtag NFL stream and it turning into a soccer ball. I don't know which hashtag specifically makes it to where the like button does something. I will find out, though. I'll narrow it down and figure it out. YouTube is weird. They talk about it all the time on Hardball. Him and Les need lock in every year. Should I become a sports analyst? Sounds like it, Ashkan. Sounds like he got a real good handle on teams that aren't the Rams. But yeah, damn, now I really want to find that coaching article. Was listening to it. We got Malcio. Let's go, man. Kevin Patullo's gone. I guess while we're here, we may as well cover some of the other major headlines. We've covered John Harbaugh's a Giant. Okay, if you want to hear more extensive talks on that, you could always rewind the stream. But if you want to stay to the live stream, we'll talk about a couple other things that happened just for reference. Mike Tomlin, first up. I just want like a graphic to pair with this discussion. Mike Tomlin got fired. Here we go. This will work. Mike Tomlin stepped down. So in case you didn't hear, I'm sure many of you did. In case you didn't hear, Mike Tomlin stepped down. And on top of that, but the Steelers retain his rights. So he can't just like up and join another team without there being compensation, much like Sean Payton. So we'll find out how that looks. Like John said, he'll probably just go to TV and spend a few years at the minimum on there. If I were Mike Tomlin, I'd say this is a good career. Probably a Hall of Fame coaching career. Probably. I think 1 Super Bowl. Or no, 2 Super Bowls, correct? No, 1 Super Bowl over the Cardinals. 2 Super Bowl appearances. 1 Super Bowl championship. Probably. Is Mike Tomlin a head Hall of Fame coach? I'm very strict with Hall of Fame players, but I feel like coaches are very tough to assess. But provided Mike Tomlin has coached his last game, I think he'll be great on TV. The Steelers definitely had to make a move. And what I'll say is, I don't want to be like Oshkon right now and be like, what's the point of being a Steelers fan? I'd hate that. What I will say, because not everyone can just bandwagon to the Rams. But what happens with the Steelers is their team is really stuck. They're overpaying a lot of guys. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a lot of exciting pieces. I don't think DK Metcalf he's a wide receiver 1. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 that you want. You know what I mean? Kind of like Terry McLaurin, and that's no shade to our Manders fans in here. But Terry McLaurin being your wide receiver 1, it's just not a perfect setup. Neither is DK Metcalf. I don't know why I brought Terry McLaurin in there just to shade him. But you know what I mean? Like, he's not a permanent set and forget wide receiver 1. You'd like to put other talent around him. The Steelers feel very stuck, especially because they don't have much draft capital or salary cap flexibility. I think the Steelers need to tear it all down and rebuild for a few years. But then again, that's not what the Steelers do. So I think we'll see who they hire. I'm assuming they'll go with a pretty high-profile coordinator, maybe a Brian Flores. Maybe, I don't think Chris Shula would go. Who else do I see being a potential coordinator for the Steelers? I mean, coach of the Steelers, Mike Kafka. Damn. Tough fit, honestly, to foresee. I'm trying to think. Mike McCarthy wouldn't work, right? Clint Kubiak? What does Kalshi say? Again, this is not law. This is insider trading, but I just want to see what Kalshi, what the betters think is going to happen for the Steelers' next coach. Let me search that really quick. Kalshi thinks, wow, Chris Shula is the overwhelming favorite. Wow. And then Brian Flores. Wow, okay. Well then, sure, Chris Shula. That'll work. I said I didn't know if it was going to be Chris Shula. It might be. There you go. Defensive head coach. We'll see how he does. 19 winning seasons in a row. If Shanahan isn't in, Tomlin definitely isn't. All right. Okay, I like it. Tomlin being around for 20 years and not having a tree is weird. That's a really good point, actually. That's really strange. That's talk about a leader of men and nothing else. In a row. I saw a tweet earlier the Steelers would trade Tomlin for a first pick and I had to turn off my phone. Yeah. I saw a tweet that said the Raiders should trade the number 1 pick for Tomlin and like someone else. And it didn't make any sense. People on Twitter not everyone should be allowed to tweet. I'll say that. Bandwagon, now you're trying to rage. I'm a Seahawks fan now. Don't worry. There you go, RJ. There you go. Got your playoff girlfriend team. Not going to catch me slipping, buddy. I'm just saying, like, pretty convenient of a fan base. I think the Steelers need a Patriots type thing where they have 3 terrible seasons with top 5 draft picks. Yeah, and they could easily bounce back from that. Has Cliff been hired yet? I don't believe so. He definitely hasn't been hired yet, but I guess he could get a gig. Mike Tomlin wearing a Ravens cap and a sweater, that would be nuts. Now, I really do think, though, Brian Flores makes sense for a lot of jobs. Ravens and Steelers in particular make a lot of sense. They just feel like very established. It's funny because Brian Flores, like career trajectory wise, he like seems like a coordinator through and through, but it also would technically be a retread, just like Bob Saleh. Technically, he is a retread. Technically, he's been a coach before. It just felt kind of short-lived. So we'll see. We'll see. Where's Bob Saleh going to go? Where's Brian Flores going to go? Time will tell. Time will tell. Steelers promote Arthur Smith would be a great move. That would be funny. If they want to have a few top 5 picks, they should promote Arthur Smith. Yeah, he sucks. And choice between the Rams and the Chargers. You know how I feel about those Bolts. You made the right pick between those two teams for sure. Flores doesn't want to bottom out though. We'll see. We'll see what Flores wants to do. I'm not sure. I feel like the Steelers' job is going to be a tough one to take, but I think the Steelers' job is good for a first-time head coach. Why not right the ship? Go in with no expectations and see what you can do. I think Cliff's going to be the KCOC. There you go. That's a good prediction. We'll find out. Matt Nagy also could get a job somewhere. Who knows? Matt Nagy's got a plan. And Oshkon, yes, is a Clippers fan, so that is tough sledding. So yeah, look, when we streamed Texans Steelers, I was like full on crashing out, and that happens when we sit here and watch an awful football game for 3 hours. I was full on screaming. I'm like, what's the point of Mike Tomlin? What is the purpose? Like, I sounded like Oshkon. It was like, why even bother? But genuinely, treading water and winning like 8 to 10 games a season and then instantly getting bounced in the playoffs for 8 straight seasons is not good. So I'm glad the Steelers cut him. I'm glad Mike Tomlin was able to exit with some kind of dignity. Aaron Rodgers is for sure done, in my opinion. So that the Steelers are going to be an interesting team to work around. We will see what happens there. Other news that is worth discussing. You guys see where I'm going with this. Dante Moore is staying in school. I want to see, where's the, why is Raiola? Why is there a picture of Raiola? What the hell? ChatGPT got to the Twitter search. It's been like that for years. What am I saying? Wait, Dylan Raiola's, wait. He's entered the transfer report. Wait. Wait, what? Oh, that's why Raiola showed up. What a story. Wait. Dylan Raiola is such a goofball, man. I do not follow college football at all, and even I know this dude's a dweeb. So he transferred to Oregon, assuming Dante Moore would commit to the draft, and then when he didn't, he has now entered the transfer portal 48 hours after agreeing with Oregon. Minnie Mahomes can't find a home. Interesting, right? There. We have Mahomes and we have Mahomeless. Dylan Raiola. There you go. You can use that if you want. I'm sure that joke's been made 1,000 times. But yeah, Dante Moore is staying in school. I think for a multitude of reasons. For one, I think he just likes being in college. I don't know much about Dante Moore, but from what I've heard, specifically from Joel Klatt, who's pretty plugged in, says he's just a good guy. Just a good dude to be around. He's just a fun guy who came from the trenches and just appreciates being in college. And to be honest, in the age of NIL, obviously he's getting paid a pretty hefty check. But in the age of NIL, it is nice seeing a player just prioritize the college experience. And just, again, I don't know the guy. I'm just judging off of what I heard from one report. But if all that is true and Dante Moore is just a chill dude who likes going to math in the morning, enjoy college. Dante Moore is obviously a younger prospect. Enjoy college while you can, because breaking news, New York Jets is where careers go to die. And he will never come out and say, I didn't want to go to the Jets, that's why I stayed in school. But no one's going to blame him, right? No one's going to blame him for not wanting to go to the hellhole that is the New York Jets. Like I said earlier, Zach Wilson is 10th in all-time passing for the New York Jets. They are in a league of their own. If NFL teams could get relegated, the Jets would have been gone 30 years ago. Like the last time the Jets were in the Super... I haven't seen the Jets in the playoffs. Whole time I've been watching football, I have not seen the Jets in the playoffs. Last time they made it was, I think, 2010. The Mark Sanchez AFC Championship game. By the way, what's Mark Sanchez up to right now? I forgot. What's he doing these days? I know he was like a commentator on Fox, but is he doing anything else? What's going on with him? What's the case? Yeah. Here we go. Wait. Can I hire you as my fantasy head coach, Hannah? For sure. I'll start a Patreon. Start giving fantasy advice. Flores was their DC for a bit, if I remember correctly. For Pittsburgh? Or, sorry, I'm way behind now. See, man, thinking like me, you almost had a breakthrough, but the delusion kicked in. Oshkon catching strays. Now Hunter basically just admitted he doesn't know what he's saying. LSU picked up Sam Levitt, LFG. Yeah, I saw that. Sam Levitt is a Tiger. I just spoiled genius mind. How dare you? Raiola staying in Oregon. It just said he's transferring. Dante Moore is still only 20. Yeah, he's only 20. Exactly what I mean. So just, hang out. Enjoy school. Go hang out in the dining hall. Go to a party or two. Be the man. If you're getting paid to be in college, why rush it? Be the man at school. Tyson made him look good. Bo Nix came out at 24. We know how we feel about Bo Nix, though. Dante will be better off after staying. Math in the morning. This dude's taking Disney characters 101 at 12:30 p.m. You're probably right. You're probably right. Hey, I didn't say what level of math. He could be taking Algebra 1. College athletes are hilarious unless you're Fernando Mendoza. They should charge football players extra for school so that the strongest only survive. I'm a genius. There you go. This draft really isn't a QB drought, huh? Exactly. And the Jets got porked because, I mean, they're going to, now what sucks is very granular for the Giants. However, the more talented quarterbacks, the more talent falls down the board. We're going to see Mendoza go 1, which, again, if you ask Stephen A. Smith, football genius, he made his take. He said, I know what the Raiders should do. If I'm the Raiders, I'm taking I'm taking Fernando Mendoza at 1. That's my take. Clap it up for Stephen A. Smith. Thanks, dude. Thanks for catching us up. So if Stephen A knows they're going to take Fernando Mendoza, I think it's a pretty done deal. He's the only quarterback worth a damn, in my opinion. If someone wants to take the Ty Simpson swing, go ahead. But I don't think that's going to pan out. And apparently next class, which I feel like, honestly, I've been following drafts for long enough to say, obviously 2027's class looks better from a quarterback perspective. It is funny, though. It's felt like for the past 4 years, every draft analyst has said, yeah, but wait until next year. Next year's class is sick. Yeah, but hold on until the next year. This year's draft sucks. Wait until next year. Once again, sports fans and sports analysts love nothing more than abstract hypotheticals. That being said, I'm with it. Dante Moore staying back in school. Geez, this draft really sucks. The city never sleeps. Will be depressed for years of football. But the Jets? The Jets should sleep. The Jets need their rest. They've been getting punched in the mouth for a long time now. Mark Sanchez is in Disney World's having fun forever. Stephen A's thinking outside of the box. Yeah, that's what I mean. Thank God Stephen A gets to go on ESPN every morning at 9 a.m. with just rockin' takes like that. He knows. How did he do it? How did he know that the Raiders should take Fernando Mendoza? This brother can play. Why can he play, Stephen A? What's Fernando Mendoza good at? Guarantee you can't answer it. I'm definitely doing the Stephen A hate stream. We'll do that in the offseason, though. We'll go through every single bad moment Stephen A. Smith has had and collectively laugh at him. If you laugh at him as he makes millions of dollars to talk on TV. Anyway, well, 2024 was that year. 2021 had potential too. But again, it's funny because 2021 had so much potential. It was such a great class. And then you look at it and it's like Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Like, we all love Trevor, but it took him a minute to come around. You know what I mean? It's like even the great classes might not pan out. Drafting is so abstract, and I just, projections lead us nowhere. Raiders see an O-lineman. They got to be trading back into the first round after they take Mendoza. You're probably right. Honestly. Get some interior guys. I mean, hopefully JPJ can go back to center, and they can kind of figure it out from there. But what sucks is the Raiders can't draft for anything. If you go through the Raiders, like most recent drafts, you'd be shocked with how little talent they've gotten. Same goes for the Steelers, by the way. Well, next year's draft is pretty sick. Jeremiah Smith and company. You see, so one player. But yeah, Jeremiah Smith will be sick. He'll be a good prospect. But then again, he's a wide receiver. He probably won't go in the top 3. We'll see how it goes. Stop saying we all love Trevor. Okay, everybody but Jarv loves Trevor around here. 27 class being hyped with the same guys that were hyped with the 26 class preseason. I'm an arch believer, though. You see, I'm not. But look, the Giants aren't. Hopefully, the Giants aren't going to need a quarterback. So I'm just going to sit and watch. I'm just going to sit back and chill. I just want to chill. Yeah. 2025 was the best I've ever seen. Class? I mean, when you think about it, Cam Ward looks like he's got a rocket. Tyler Shuck is fun. And, I feel about Jackson Dart. I can't believe I just brought Tyler Shuck ahead of Jackson Dart. Any other quarterbacks go? Oh, yeah, Shador. Shador is sick. Shador might be better than anyone in this year's class. And next year's class combined. Who knows? Shador Sanders might be the best quarterback in history. Who knows? 2025 class was so good. One of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. 1 in the 4th. Yeah, 5th, actually. But yes, you're right. Or unless you're talking about Milrow, which he could be. Milrow could be something. Dylan Gabriel could be something. Who else was in this year's class? Brosmer. I think he was undrafted, but Brosmer. Who else? Who else did we see? Let me check the Hill. We're going back. We're going back to the Hill really quick. Is there anybody that I'm missing from this year's class? Quinn Ewers, Riley Leonard. Okay, these are like just textbook names. I think Brady Cook's a rookie. I mean, who cares? But I think he's a rookie. And yeah, that's about that. Yeah, DG8 stud. Back to Mac Jones. Arch got better during the season. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just glad the Giants don't have to tank for a quarterback for the first time in years. Makes me happy. And the Giants won't be tanking for a draft pick. Next year's draft's going to be sick. Shador is legendary. Fourth and Milroe. Milroe center will not be tolerated. Like, will Milroe be tolerated? The Seahawks didn't even put him out there. You know how I feel about Shador Sanders. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I hope Shador Sanders is the greatest football player in history. I hope he wins 20 Super Bowls and is the consensus GOAT of the sport. It would be the funniest thing that could possibly happen. I'm rooting for the guy. What I saw this year on tape was not impressive, but who am I to judge? This league needs a new team to win their first title. That's how I feel before the season. I agree with you. I think that's. I like the little red diamond emoji. Definitely did get my attention, Malcio. But yeah, I agree with you for sure. I think this year we'll get like a first-time team. I really do have a sneaking suspicion the Texans are going to win it all. Defense wins championships, and I think the Texans' defense is stacked. Like, would you be surprised if this offseason we're talking about some of the greatest defenses ever and comparing them to the Houston Texans who just won a Super Bowl? I think it's possible. I think the Texans match up really well with the Patriots. Just saying. I got to do picks, actually. All right, let's do picks. I got to do picks. They'll be quick. But let's do it. Let's do picks really quick. Yeah, Dante Moore's staying in school, in case you didn't hear. And the Jets, once again. Most Jets fans actually seem happy about this. It seems like they didn't really want to reach on a quarterback, which is cool. But again, I don't think drafting a corner is going to save the Jets or whoever they take, Arvell Reese or whatever. We'll see who the Jets take, but Dante Moore not committing definitely throws a wrench in their quarterback plans. Sure, he's sitting in a good system for 1 to 2 years. Wrong, he's Super Bowl ready. There you go. Texans defense needs their own name at this point. Yeah, seriously. All right, let's do it. Broncos at home. I think when this line opened up, the Bills were 1.5 point favorites. It is now switched to Denver being 1.5 point favorites. Denver could win by 100. I don't care. I'm not picking them. Screw Denver. Bills outright. Niners Seahawks. I do think the Seahawks are really good, and I'm not saying they're gonna lose, but I like the Niners to cover. These games are always close. The Niners did beat the Seahawks at home. Granted, that was week 1, but I think they have a chance to at least compete in this one. Texans D is scary. They don't do disguises or stunts. Yeah, they just send 4 and they get to you. And Patriots in particular are going to be pretty gettable, if you know what I mean. Like, it's Will Campbell did not have a good night against who was he usually matched up against? Khalil Mack. I don't think Will Campbell sucks by any means, but he's a rookie tackle and it shows. So I think Will Anderson's going to have a day. Danielle Hunter's a beast. The Texans defense alone outscored the Steelers last week with a pick 6 and a fumble 6. So I'm definitely not going to go against the Texans. I just said they could win the Super Bowl. I think that starts by beating the Patriots. I like the Texans outright. And then we have Rams Bears, and this is tricky. Let me take a sip here. This is tricky. Odafe Owe and Khalil Mack. Okay, so there's a mix. All right. There's a good shot Warner plays. That's a good point. So this is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not even just trying to rage bait Oshkan here. Because the Bears, man, what do we think of the Bears? They're at home against a team that plays in a dome, against a team that almost could have lost to the Panthers. The Bears defense is not great. If there's any bet in particular I like, it's the over here. I think the Rams are legit, don't get me wrong, but they've also shown that they're a little spotty. This is a Rams team that should have walked into the number one seed, and they didn't. So now they have every playoff matchup on the road, including going into Carolina, into the Panthers place, whatever, the Panthers den. Where do Panthers live? In the Panthers colony, whatever. And almost lost. The Bears are super fun. They're 3.5 point underdogs at home. This is one of those times I'm glad I choose the spread and not the outright game. I like the Bears plus 3.5. I think I like the Rams to win by a field goal. Razor thin margins. If the line is 3, I wouldn't want to bet it, but it's 3.5. I'm going with Chicago. Chi-town. I'm not going to be shy about my pick. I'm going Bears plus 4.5. Suck it, Oshkon. Last time you said I was wrong about the picks. I was picking Panthers, Rams, and I nailed that pick. I'm going with this one. I'm sticking with my guns. There it is. There it is. I despise both these teams. The Bears defense has no chance against this offense. I agree. And but the thing is, the Bears, man, they've been frisky. They went close against the Bengals, but they're the 3 seed in the NFC. They won the NFC North handedly. They just beat the Packers. This Bears team they've got the magic touch. They've got the luck on their side. Let's see if when this magic runs out. For Washington had the magic touch last year, and they were going against the Lions, huge underdogs, and the Manders kicked the teeth out of the Lions. They went into the Lions' den and ripped their tails off, man. I'm telling you. That being said, the Rams don't have Jared Goff anymore, but they do have Matthew Stafford, who's been oddly turning the ball over a little bit. There's a very real shot the Bears could get a pick 6 and blow this game wide open. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying if a defense can expose Matthew Stafford for the turnovers, not bad play. Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback. But if there's a team that can catch a bad Stafford ball and take it to the house, it's this Bears team. They've got the magic and the luck on their side, and I think that can't be ignored in January football. It also is worth noting the Niners got a short week of rest, so that kind of screws them. But there you go. They just allowed 150 to Romeo Doubs. Yeah, well, Romeo Doubs is sick. Puka's gonna bitch this team. He could. He very well could. But the Bears have the magic touch. I'm sticking by it. My gut says I'm wrong, but damn, my heart yearns for a Ben Johnson Super Bowl win. Give me the Bears. There you go. There you go. Yoinked. There it is, Hunter. Everything you say, I believe too. You're a genius football man. I've already put thousands of belief being the Ravens head coach. You're amazed with everything. Thanks, RJ Bricks. There it is. We're built for this shit. Michael Jordan approved this message. There we go. Chi-town. Hell yeah. 27-6 Rams at halftime, 34-31 full time. Okay, then they cover. Then the Bears cover 3.5. Done. I'm fine with that. There you go. Caleb Williams is calm under pressure. I don't know if you guys heard or not. Caleb Williams doesn't get nervous. He called it. He said, I don't get nervous. There you go. Stafford said, let's rip these guys' hearts out on the game-winning drive. We're built for this. I hope so. I'm not even rooting against the Rams. I hope it's a great game more than anything. The MVP Super Bowl with May and Stafford. We'll see. I think the Texans are going to... My lock of the week is Texans over the Patriots, and that's not to slight Pats fans. I know Mahi's in here, but Iceman, there you go. There you go, Iceman. But yeah, those are the picks. I'm glad we got on stream to do that. I'll definitely set that up for the Saturday stream. But yeah, fellas, is that all the major NFL news? Has anything else happened since Monday? I'm trying to think. Anybody get fired? I'm sure something else happened. Cover John Harbaugh. Obviously, John Harbaugh's a Giant. I don't know if you guys heard or not. John Harbaugh's the Giants' next head coach. Todd Monken very well could go to Tampa. I think he'll probably end up in New York. We'll see. Tyrell Shavers played half on a torn ACL and almost had the same amount of snaps as Keon Goldman. So there you go. Jesse Minter also makes a lot of sense for Baltimore. Now I'm just reading what's on the screen. I just want to see, is there anything else that happened? Nate Skilhassy. Oh boy. That'd be hilarious. Adam Thielen retired, so moment of silence for Adam Thielen. Yeah, that's the moment of silence for Adam Thielen. What a career he had. I'm not trying to disrespect Vikes Nation, but I realized scrolling through Adam Schefter is not like, this isn't, Marcus Freeman staying in school, which we all thought was going to happen. Yeah, I guess that's it. And Kevin Patullo's gone. I guess that's the last thing. Kevin Patullo's gone, which, I mean, shocker. I don't know. Whoa! Didn't see this one happening. Kevin Patullo's not a good offensive coordinator? What is this? September of 2025? Come on. I can't believe it took him this long. Whatever. Cameron Boozer's trending. Rams are fresh meat. There you go. I don't know if you heard it, but he said he doesn't get nervous. Caleb gonna paint his nails black after the playoff loss. Sends him into depression. Love the Texans defense, but I don't want to watch Stroud in the Super Bowl. Neither do I, to be honest. But the Texans kind of have a playoff pedigree. Remember last year, I've said this before. Remember last year, they went pretty close to the Chiefs. They went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs for a while. They ended up losing, obviously, but they had a shot. They very much had a shot. He does make cool throws, so sometimes I'll give him that. Why are you clicking like the girl from Hereditary? Do I have, like... I don't know, clicking like vocally clicking or like that, or clicking the mouse? I'm sure, I don't know. I'm tired. Mike Tomlin stepped down. This happened. And, yeah, they are. Zach Taylor still has a job. I think that's our news run through. If you missed anything, what happened with Bryce Young? Oh yeah, the Panthers picked up the 5th-year option on Bryce Young. Next thing. Next story. I don't know what else to say about that. Mike Kafka could be the Bucks' next OC. Bucks are doing a lot of work for the OC. Art Rogue, as a Commanders fan, I say congratulations, damn it. Thank you, Art Rogue. I appreciate that. God, we got a lot of Commanders fans in here right now. This is fun. Should I talk about Commanders news? Who are like what Commanders news is there? 7th pick in the draft. Cliff Kingsbury might go to another team. And there you go. But I appreciate it, Art Rogue. Thanks. Surprised Patullo didn't get stoned by Eagles fans before he even got fired. What I've heard too, and this is funny that I want to note, Kevin Patullo very well could stay on the Eagles staff, which is very funny to me. Nick Sirianni's Nepo hires will never escape how hilarious NFL jobs. You know what I mean? Nick Sirianni hiring his buddies is funny to me. That's what I meant to say. There you go. That'd be more to the Tomlin story. Really? All right, the Commanders suck. You guys are horrible. Your team's abysmal. Come on, RJ. Does the Bills only have 3 healthy receivers on the roster? Change your pick. No. Screw Denver. The Bills could have me at receiver. Screw Denver. Commanders don't have fans. The Redskins do. There you go. Man. Yeah. We did our playoff picks. If anyone disagrees, you're wrong. I feel pretty solid on all these. Hunnaball parlay. Put $1 down. You would make $14.63. That's a good payday, if you ask me. There you go. 1 turns into 14. Can't beat it. Yeah. And I'm fired up. John Harbaugh's a New York Giants head coach. I'm fired the hell up, man. Bill's got Tre'Davious White running receiver, plays here in practice. Look, Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and Bo Nix is Bo Nix. Enough said. Now the Commanders have a lot of free agents they can't re-sign. But that means they're probably due for a lot of cap space. I cannot believe this stream happened tonight. I cannot overstate it. Hey, Charles Cross got an extension. There you go. Seahawks bringing back their guy, Charles Cross. Wish the Giants took him instead of Evan Neal, but man can dream. Let's go cap space. Chargers got plenty of cap space. Titans got plenty of cap space. Raiders, Manders. Giants are kind of in the red. Some contracts can be moved around, but 2027 is the year for the Giants to have a ton of cap space. But this is how teams' caps are looking. Saints are still in cap hell. Browns are going to have to pay Watson next year. And Chargers have money. There you go. Chargers have money. We'll see what they do with it. Wow. Jets basically have no one in 2027. The Jets... If there's any Jets fan watching, enjoy it, because this is the only time I'm ever going to say this. The Jets might be good in 2027. Considering they're not going to force it on a QB this year, they can draft just a best defensive or just second pick in the draft. They can draft the best player available and then just punt this season, go 0-17, possibly. Fire Aaron Glenn, use him as a scapegoat, bring on some sort of established coach. Next year, I don't know, maybe Mike Tomlin comes back and coaches the Jets. That's not going to happen, but something like that. And Rams have a ton of cap space too, which is interesting. But yeah, and maybe the Jets will be able to, finagle their way. I mean, they're going to be paying. They owe players a whopping $16 million in 2027. They have $16 million on the books for 2027. So, that's Darius Slayton's contract right there. The Jets have a Darius Slayton worth of players in 2027. So they'll be able to really work some magic and really spend some money. So we'll see how that looks. Not that a ton of free agents want to go to the Jets, but they could be good. I think Bills win too, but because of the script. Commanders have horrible fans. Their team's going nowhere. Look at the Rams, man. Top 5 in cap. Now we're good. All right, Hunter, time for your meds. Yeah, no, yeah, seriously. It's funny because I like, you know, as you guys know, I hurt my back deadlifting. So I literally like took some meds before I got on here. So I was like, for a second, I was like, this light is, ugh. But we're back. We're ready to go. How many times can the Jets punt a season? Yeah, seriously, that's true. Yeah, for the first time ever, the Jets punt a season. Oh, man. Arch Manning in green would be hilarious. Oh, boy. You said I'm a bandwagon. I did say that. I just suggested it. It's convenient being an LA Rams fan. But yes, I'm not a fan of Dan Quinn. You see? There you go. Confirmed. No one likes their coach. There you go. Another. No, RJ's a Manders fan. Last time you'll see them for 8 months. Yeah, Oshkon's feeling good. Rams fans are on top. I'm gonna get some water. I don't have much else to say, but I'm dehydrated. I need some water. All right. I don't want to Pez. Anyway. DQ's an awesome coach. All right, there you go. So even the fan base is split. Damn, yeah, I feel like we've really milked all we can out of the current NFL news cycle. Aaron Rodgers is for sure going to retire. Eli Manning had some things to say on the Manning cast. Nico Collins might be out. That doesn't bode well for the Texans, but I think the Texans offense could score 3 points and still be okay. You never know. I watch every Sunday with a melon on my head. I don't even get that joke, but I like it. Yeah. Gonzo in concussion protocol. That's not great. John Harbaugh interview with the Falcons. I wonder how this will pan out. God, I'm happy the Giants got Harbaugh. So yeah, we'll close out with that. We'll close out with this graphic. And yeah, I forgot my schizophrenia meds. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, fellas, Giants have a coach, and I'm happy about it. McDaniel would be good for Atlanta. Yeah, I don't think he'd be bad for Atlanta. Look, at the bare minimum, Mike McDaniel in Atlanta would be a fun team to watch. I agree. It's not a joke, but he's what the Rams do. I don't know what the Rams do because I don't know many. I mean, the only Rams fan I know, Oshkon, and I live in California. So there you go. But yeah, McDaniel will be good for Atlanta. I like that fit. Oh, by the way, I'll pull this up really quick. If you missed if you missed Monday's stream, here were my coaching predictions. And feel free to make your own. We got a Discord that I'll put a link to in the chat. Feel free to make your own in the chat here. If anyone wants to join the Discord, if you're not already in the Hunnaballers Discord, there's the link. But yeah, these were my coaching vacancies tier list. As you can see, I had the Giants going John Harbaugh. I'm 1 for 1 so far. If Harbaugh didn't work out, I was gonna have to step up to the plate and be the head coach. Miami, we got I think that's Clint Kubiak. Nope. Yeah, that's Clint Kubiak and or Jeff Hafley, depending on how much those Packers ties matter. Pretty confident Kevin Stefanski's going to be the Atlanta head coach. I don't know. I just got a feeling. Mike McDaniel would be sick, though. B-Flow to Vegas. He also could go to the Steelers, also could go to Baltimore. But I like Jesse Minter to Baltimore just because the Ravens need some fresh blood. And that sounded weird. Some fresh blood. Sound like a butcher. But you know what I mean? Like they could use some young blood, some new energy into the building. Jesse Minter has some background in Baltimore, so there you go. Should I need to go to bed? I thought that said vaccines. Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, it's getting late. It's about to start analyzing real hard. Yeah. NFL coaching vaccines. There you go. Cleveland, I got 2 options for him. Mike McCarthy and Toe Mater. There you go. Tennessee, which I'm sorry, Titans fans, but Matt Nagy seems like the most likely hire. If not, Arthur Smith has some ties. Jason Garrett interviewed, so I wanted to throw his name in the hat. And then for Arizona, the who cares franchise of the NFL, I have whoever goes further between Vance Joseph and Bob Saleh getting the head coaching gig in Arizona. And there are also options. There are also other options on the table that I put on this tier list but didn't put up there. As you can see, Morris, Pep, Antonio Pierce, etc., Cliff, Bill, Eli, Jeff Saturday, Skip, all kinds of options. So if you want to make your own, you can add me on Tier Maker. because this is the best coaching vacancy tier list on the website. That I can say for sure. Yeah, add me on Tier Maker. Add Hunnaball. I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers on Tier Maker. That's my goal for the year. I think the Steelers are gonna go underground with their hire. Yeah, I don't have Steelers on here, so I guess I need to edit the list. That's actually a good point. I got to throw Steelers on there. In fact, let's do a prediction for the Steelers really quick. I don't even think Chris Shula's actually in the on the tier list. That's the one missing spot. Oh no, he's right there. Cool. We'll throw Chris Shula on there as well. Add a row below. Nice. It's already Steelers yellow. Beautiful. Pitt. Whoops. Pitt and Chris Shula. There you go. And if not him, let's go Gruden. Fuck it. There you go. Done. There it is. New and updated. Chris Shula or Gruden. There you go. Eli. The guy who would have saved NYC again. He says, but the team's just hired the assistant dog training coach that nobody knows who it is. Yeah. Again, I could be wrong, but so far I'm 1 for 1 on this list. We'll see how the rest of the list shakes out. I'd say I'm most confident out of everybody on here, most confident that Atlanta gets Stefanski. That being said, after thinking it through, McDaniel would be a slam dunk. We'll see though. We'll see. Shielhouse. Oh, that's right. Shilhassi. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The 30-year-old. He does have a shot. I should put him on the list. You're right. Nathan Skilhassi. Damn it. You're right. Hold on. Let me just download that JPEG really quick. What a funny name that guy has. Nathan Steelhouse. Funny look this guy's got. But yeah. So I'll throw that on there, and then that'll be it for tonight's stream. But I appreciate all you guys stopping by. Shoot, man. This was a late impromptu stream. And, you know, there are all kinds of Giants content creators out there, but none of them quite match the pace of the Hunnaball. So I'm glad you guys are here. If you're new, we stream through most important sports things. And yeah, always happy to hang out and converse with you guys. An intelligent football room minus Oshkon. And, you know, we have fun around here. If you're new, pop on by. We're going to be streaming through the divisional games Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, we do tier lists and cool shit like that. So yeah. All right. I don't need to edit this on stream. Anyways, you guys have a sick rest of your night. I know it's 2 a.m. Eastern, but thank you guys for being here. Good night. You made my day brighter. Thanks, RJ Bricks. You too. Fucking put Gruden on there too. Yeah, Gruden's on there. And throw every tier remaining head coach on Arizona tier. Yeah. I'll put Eli and Skip Bayless on the Arizona tier. But anyways, guys, I always appreciate you stopping by. It's always a fun hang. And I will see you on Saturday. Drop a like if you haven't already. And I have been Hunnaball. Mac Jones.